February 1945, Huckenscheid, Germany. Corporal Edward A. Bennett was advancing with Company B across open ground to assault Huckenscheid, Germany, just after dark when vicious enemy machine gun fire from a house on the outskirts of the town pinned down the group and caused several casualties. He began crawling to the edge of the field in an effort to flank the house, persisting in this maneuver even when the hostile machine gunners located him by the light of burning buildings and attempted to cut him down as he made for the protection of some trees. Reaching safety, he stealthily made his way by a circuitous route to the rear of the building occupied by the German gunners. With his trench knife, he killed a sentry on guard there and then charged into the darkened house. In a furious hand-to-hand struggle, he stormed about a single room which harbored 7 Germans. 3 he killed with rifle fire, another he clubbed to death with the butt of his gun, and the 3 others he dispatched with his .45 caliber pistol. The fearless initiative, stalwart combat ability, and outstanding gallantry of Corporal Bennett eliminated the enemy fire which was decimating his company's ranks and made it possible for the Americans to sweep all resistance from the town.
Welcome back to the Headspace and Tasting Podcast, where we talk manhood, tell stories, and discuss the stuff that matters to us one sip at a time. Welcome, Kevin.
Hi, Matt.
Back on Saturdays again for one day.
Yeah.
Just because I got to travel.
That long citation was in honor of today, July 12th, which is the Army's Medal of Honor Day, established back in 1861.
Yeah. Nice. What was the machine gun fire line? Vicious machine gun fire. Is there any other type of machine gun fire if it's shooting at you?
Probably not.
There's no like.
Although there's a great little commentary about training for German machine guns and how it's just a lot of noise and don't be so scared of it. That's actually part of a Disney training video. I think I have that at home.
Oh man, I guess the friendly machine gun fire is outgoing. Right, that's like, oh, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
When you hear the machine guns talking, doing firing, you got like 4 machine guns going. That sounds great, as long as it's not shooting at you.
We have a welcome back guest today.
Yeah.
Right.
Our first repeat guest.
Yeah.
I think it was our first male guest too, right? Yeah.
Repeat. Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, welcome back, Dave.
Technically not your first repeat guest. I'm your first repeat male guest.
First repeat. Have we had?
I think you had the daughters on.
Yeah.
Twice.
Well, we had to redo that because the one show was.
Did we have the daughters on twice?
Yeah, I feel like you did.
No, they were only on once. We did the wives.
Yeah, just the wives.
And the daughters.
Okay.
So we had to redo the daughters episode because it was the first one was just
a disaster.
Like
maybe it's because I know that.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Dave. Glad to have you on the show.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
Bonnie has decided to join the show as well. Yeah. Somebody must be out front.
Why can't you tame your dog?
She is tame. She's doing her job.
Nah, I don't think so.
Yeah, she is.
No, I don't think you trained her well.
Okay. Your dog is obviously better trained than mine, right?
Well, he didn't jump up on you.
No.
He stood and barked his ass off at you.
I'm surprised he didn't leave a puddle.
He couldn't. His tail was just sponge.
Yeah.
Tucked up under him so tight. It's like a diaper.
All right, guys. So the Medal of Honor.
You were talking about vicious machine gun fire.
Yeah.
Did I share the quote, the Churchill quote with you last time?
I don't think so.
Nothing in life is more exhilarating than to have been shot at without effect.
Oh, boy. I guess, without effect being the perfect word.
No, that's one of my favorite quotes from Churchill.
Oh.
That's his Boer War experience.
Oh, yeah. He actually did some pretty incredible. Didn't he, jump a train or hijack a train full of prisoners or something?
Yeah, he was captured a prisoner of war.
Yeah, and then he jumped off the train, right?
Yeah, ended up escaping.
Yeah.
And then it was a 245-mile trek across South Africa to a port, to friendly lines. I think that's how long it took him. Wow. I think that's how far it was, yeah.
Dang.
And then, being Churchill, he was quick to write about it and become a national hero by the time he got home.
Good marketing of himself.
Yeah, he did that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he was always about that. but he had to pay for his lifestyle.
Speaking of marketing yourself, what did y'all hear about Tim Kennedy?
No.
His stolen valor stuff. He'd been saying that he had received a Bronze Star with a Valor device and killed all these people and been in all these operations, and then finally the guys on his team were like, yeah, none of that happened.
Who's this?
He's a MMA fighter.
He's a Green Beret.
Social media personality.
Yeah. He was an 18 X-ray, so he was a Green Beret baby, SF baby, and got selected to be on a SIF team because he was good at jiu-jitsu and martial arts. And yeah, when he was on active duty, I think he was on active duty when he was at Fort Bragg, and he was fighting on TV, and he was a full-time MMA, UFC fighter and a Green Beret at the same time. So pretty studly dude. He has no reason to lie or make crap up, but he did. And now SOCOM, use of soccer, investigating, and so it's not good.
Well, so the Medal of Honor, our highest decoration for valor, right? And when they were forming it or putting it together at the time of the Civil War, General Winfield Scott, who was commander, was against it and actually campaigned not to have.
What was his reason?
The Medal of Honor. He didn't showmanship and something else. He didn't think that. He thought that what you did on the field of battle was what you did on the field of battle.
But they had the Red Badge of Courage or something like that first, right?
No.
What is
the only
that?
thing they really had
What am I
was the
thinking?
Purple Heart, which was George Washington's little award
Okay.
that he gave out.
Did the Army wear ribbons at that time at all? Did they have any ribbons or awards that they would wear?
I don't know.
Not really.
I don't know that we had any
Besides their
awards. I don't
rank.
think we had any awards for conspicuous gallantry.
Yeah. So it was
I think
their-
the Medal of Honor was the first award for conspicuous gallantry.
Oh,
Yeah.
So,
okay. Interesting.
And then so since then, through all the wars up to today, a full 40% of all the awards, Medals of Honor, was awarded during the Civil War. World War II only had 472 over that 5-year campaign.
Yeah.
But 1,100 of them, something like that, were awarded during the Civil War.
Vietnam, there's a lot of Silver Stars or Distinguished Service Cross that are getting bumped up to the Medal of Honor recently too.
Yeah. But that's a good point. I wonder if the Medal of Honor, why there's so many during the Civil War, is it was the only award.
right.
Probably.
Versus World War II, when you already had the Silver Star, Distinguished Service Cross.
And they added the Bronze Star in 44, I think.
I know a few guys that have a Army Commendation Medal with a Valor device.
Yeah.
That if they would have been an E7, it probably would have been a Bronze Star.
We
Or
have
if
a
they
guy
were
who
an
went through
officer.
ROTC with who has one of them.
Yep.
Bronze Stars, really, we used to call the Bronze Stars, if you saw an officer with a Bronze Star, that was their participation medal, that they would get that just for going overseas.
Well, it is.
Is it? If you don't have a V device?
It's the wartime equivalent of the Meritorious Service Medal.
Is it? Huh. Yeah, I guess so, yeah. But, that's kind of rude to say. We didn't like officers. But
I mean, the statement about the medal is accurate.
is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, for, I guess for enlisted guys, it would be like, well, we saw enlisted guys, E8s would get a Bronze Star, just for running the talk or something like that, which I thought the Bronze Star was a Valor device, or Valor unit, what would you call it, Conspicuous Gallantry Award, that it was like something that was valorous but didn't warrant.
If it
A
has
Silver
the V
Star.
device, yes. The Silver Star doesn't have a V device. It's automatically associated with valor in combat.
Okay, so
but the Bronze Star and the ARCOM can have V devices added to it.
Okay.
Or the Navy and Air Force equivalents of the ARCOM.
Yeah, the Air Medal and
And honestly,
Well,
that would
the Air
be
Medal is a different.
Distinguished Service Cross is kind of like, they have the Navy Cross and the Air Medal, right?
Right.
and then I didn't actually equate that with the bronze medal with the V device or not until I was already serving as an officer in the Army. Up until then, anytime I saw a Bronze Star, I was like, oh, that's a Bronze Star.
Yeah.
You automatically equate it with valor.
Yeah, it's a pretty damn high award. It's up there.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the one? What's below that? It'd be the
What's above
Legion
it?
of Merit or
I mean,
Silver Star, right?
For combat, for valorous awards, above the Bronze Star, Silver Star, then Distinguished Service Cross, and then Medal of Honor.
Yeah.
Right.
Where's the Legion of Merit fall? That's right.
Well,
below,
it's a
right?
peacetime award.
Yeah.
So that would be above a Meritorious Service Medal. So technically, it would be above a Bronze Star.
Oh.
But it's a peacetime award versus a.
And then
It's also the award that you give out to foreign service members.
Yeah.
Kind of like the French Legion of Honor.
Oh, okay. And then we have the Soldier's Medal, which is a peacetime award. It's the highest award possible in peacetime.
Right.
It's very rare to see that given out.
Someone
actually.
just got it not too long ago.
They did. It was a National Guard soldier.
I think so.
Pulled some people out of a wreck on a
Right.
highway. Yeah. So, yeah, that's.
I wouldn't be surprised with that Coast Guardsman that rescued 165 people recently. I bet he gets one of those.
Whatever the Navy or Coast Guard medal is.
Right.
Yeah.
That's weird. I thought they were part of the Department of Homeland Security now.
And
They're
then
still a military branch?
They're part of the Department of Defense.
Oh, okay.
It keeps the
flip
way
back and forth?
it keeps kind of adjusting. I mean, we have the Space Force now too.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And then
Did
you
you
also
see the
have
first Space Ranger graduated Ranger School?
I did not.
Yep.
What?
Enlisted guy.
You also have the Coast Guard life-saving medal. You have to be in deep water to do that. General Patton won it, or was awarded that for saving some folks on Lake Michigan.
Oh. Did he write his own?
No, he did not. One of the few ones that he did write on his own.
Yeah.
And then I was just thinking about the Coast Guard guy, but he was not in deep water, so I don't think that one would apply. It'd just be the soldier's medal.
Or whatever that equivalent is for the Coast Guard.
I
I don't know that they get the soldiers. Medal.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
it would be, He was a diver, rescue diver, right? I think that was his job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We have medals in the fire service, too. We're like, we call them like, congratulations, you did your job medal. Like you get a lifesaver medal if you pull somebody out of a burning building or do CPR and bring them back or whatever like that, and you get a little medal for it. And we're like, yeah, good job, dude. Like, that's what we're here for. Pat yourself on the back and get back to work. So the Medal of Honor, do you have numbers for each war? Like how many per war?
No.
Just for World War II?
I just remembered Civil War, World War II. Total up to today was 3,547
And that's a low number.
have been awarded. Yeah.
That's a really low number when you think about the amount of men and women that have served. And each branch has a different Medal of Honor, right? There's one for the Army, one for the Navy, and one for the Air Force.
They all have the upside down 5-pointed star,
Which is
and then there's just a different design for each one.
yeah.
The Navy's is the simplest. The Air Force is the most gaudy.
Of course. Fancy lads. Let's see, what else? Oh, a lot of guys, when they get the medal, when they're awarded the medal, you don't win the Medal of Honor. I should say that. A lot of people say, oh, that guy won the Medal of Honor. You don't win anything. You were awarded it. And you're a Medal of Honor awardee. A lot of them, you could tell they're very humble. And they don't want the medal because usually a lot of people had to die. A lot of their friends had to die. And they had to go through some pretty horrific things in order to be awarded that medal, to be recognized for that. And that recognition is usually more for the unit, I guess, and what went down there. Like in Afghanistan when that combat outpost got overran. Like there was a Medal of Honor given for
Keating.
that. Cop Keating, yeah. We were talking about the Sergeant First Class from the invasion of Iraq.
I think they might have awarded.
I think there was two at Cop
now
Keating.
for Keating. Yeah,
one got upgraded, right?
I think so.
Yeah. But man, it was terrible. And those guys have to stand there in front of the whole entire country and world, while the president calls them a hero, and they're just a lot of times the guy who survived. You have like Audie Murphy type guys, Alvin York. Legends.
Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump. Who did pretty amazing individual feats. But a lot of times it's a guy who's just like, man, I was just fighting like everybody else, and I made it out, and they didn't. And so it's kind of like an award for everybody, all your brothers there. And there's some interesting Medal of Honor recipients. Audie Murphy's one of them. He's a pretty interesting character. He played himself in a movie about himself.
Died in a plane crash.
Yeah. Alvin York was a pretty cool dude. He used all of his money. He was dirt poor. He was actually started out as a conscientious objector.
Right.
And but then went up to a mountain, fasted and prayed for, I don't know what it was, 24 or 48 hours, something like that. Decided, God put me here to fight, so I'm going to go fight. And he went over and killed a bunch of Germans. Captured a bunch, killed a bunch. When he came back, he used his money to start a school for poor people in his area who couldn't afford to go to school. It's a public school now, but it still stands. The building is still there, still being used as a school. And he didn't pay any taxes off any of the money that he used for selling the rights to his story, and when they made a movie and a book and all that, and he didn't pay any of his taxes, and the government came after him to pay taxes, and I think people spoke up for him, and they got that.
Did you have General Smedley Dunlap?
Smedley Butler?
Yeah, 2-time winner.
2 times.
And came out as the ultimate
badass
peace guy.
Ultimate badass. Not peace guy.
He challenged the military-industrial complex.
But he wasn't about peace. He was just saying, don't use our military to further your financial gains.
Oh, I don't know. I think there was a little bit of both there.
Well, I read his book.
Okay.
I gave his book to a general, actually, he retired, and he went to work for the military-industrial complex. And,
is it Smedley Butler? I like Smedley Dunlap better.
Smedley Butler.
Who is Smedley Dunlap?
I think Smedley Butler is the name.
Smedley Butler.
Is that a cartoon character, Smedley Dunlap?
I don't know.
I
But he
think
was
so.
he won the Marine Corps brevet. He was the last Marine to get awarded that, and then 2 Medal of Honor. He was badass. He fought in the he fought like the Banana Wars, they call them, down in the Caribbean. He fought in the Philippines. He fought World War One.
It was all for corporate America, according to him.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Wasn't it MacArthur's for father and son Medals of Honor?
And so was Teddy Roosevelt and Teddy Roosevelt Jr. They were the only 2 family members.
Nothing fishy there, probably.
Well, the
MacArthur is not a fan of him.
Douglas MacArthur's, which one? Who? I don't remember who. It was either Arthur or Douglas. I don't remember. His was awarded not for valor but for service, and which went against all regulation at the time for the Medal of Honor.
Pull that back.
I can't remember which one it was.
Probably Douglas.
Could have been Douglas.
That son of a gun.
Because Arthur was was a division commander in World War One, so I would think that it was Douglas. Yeah,
I don't remember.
Yeah, well, I remember during the invasion of the Philippines when the Japanese invaded, he got his ass on a boat and got out of there and left all his men behind.
So technically, you could say that about George Marshall. I mean, he was awarded the Medal of Honor.
Really? Just because his rank and his service.
The sacrifice he made to keep things going, because Roosevelt would not release him to go take a field command. He made him stay in D.C. as the chairman of the joints. So I don't know.
Medals are a weird thing, man.
And then Teddy Roosevelt didn't get his until when, the 90s? Was that when he got his? 1990s?
For San Juan Hill?
Yeah. I think that's when his was finally awarded.
Weird. I don't know.
I mean, it was originally submitted after San Juan Hill, but it never got approved. And then finally, 100 years later, it was pushed through Congress and got it.
I got an ARCOM for, like, retooling a training evolution. And I was, I was like, what? There's an Army Commendation Medal for this? I wrote an op order, did a sand table, coordinated air assets, and, op 4, did all this stuff. And then they were like, Sergeant Hutchinson from the center.
Well, there's something to be said about awards, right? I mean, it's kind of the generations, our kids with the millennials, you get an award for participation,
Yeah.
right? Everybody gets an award for something.
Mm-hmm.
And, the Army was not unlike that.
No.
That's one of the things. I think the Marines have never changed their responsibilities or their requirements for the awards. And, I think when a Marine even earns something as basic as just the Marine Corps medal, I mean,
That's a big deal.
it's well earned.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a Marine that got the Medal of Honor, right? Just recently, I think he got upgraded to Medal of Honor. He was a machine gunner. But, the Marine Corps really does a lot of things right when it comes to militarism, I guess would be the word. Their uniforms are, the standard is the standard. PT, standard is standard. Awards, I still wouldn't join the Marine Corps.
I mean,
What,
my
your
son's been in 6 years now. He still has not been awarded anything other than the typical service stuff.
Yeah, like the NCO stuff. Do they get NCO professional development like in the
No.
Army? Nothing
No.
like that? Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that was always
He's got
weird.
his overseas ribbon. He's got his war on terror stuff
Yeah.
before it went away.
National defense.
National Defense. Yep. It went away. I don't think they even issue that anymore. I think they stopped that as well.
Probably.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's all he's got. He's fine with that.
Yeah. Well, with the new Army uniforms now, you can just wear your combat ribbons, right? Your whatever. It's like above a certain. You don't have to wear like your Army.
You can just wear like one row if you want.
Yeah, your
Yeah, you
highest
never
two
had
rows.
to.
Really?
You never had to wear all your stuff.
Oh. Well, that says a lot about those generals that had their crap stacked up over their shoulder.
I don't know.
But you had your Army, what do they call it? The Army
Army service.
Army
ribbon.
Service ribbon, the gay pride ribbon, we call it.
Are we
Right,
still like
rainbow.
that today? I mean, do we still give out too many awards? I'm talking about in general.
Well, they just authorized combat patches for guys that were in Afghanistan or like Africa and the Middle East in the last 3 years, like because they were in hostile areas.
Mm-hmm.
There just wasn't a active combat zone, but there's definitely enemy there. And like those people in Qatar, like Iran just launched some missiles
Wow.
at you.
Well, it makes me wonder. I mean, I got hazardous duty pay when I was in El Salvador.
Yeah.
Can I wear a patch on my right shoulder?
Go ahead. Nobody's gonna stop you.
I mean, I don't know.
You can wear 4 patches on your right shoulder if you want. I mean,
I thought it was funny that when I was down
just put it
there,
right there on the.
Yep.
when I was in El Salvador, we got hazardous duty pay.
Yeah.
The same exact operation, the folks that were in Honduras
Uh-huh.
were not authorized hazardous duty pay.
Weird.
Only in El Salvador.
Let's
Were
ignore
you, were you tax exempt?
I was not.
Weird.
Another odd thing. I don't know. I mean, I'm talking about civilian world. I mean, do we have all the participation awards? Is that kind of gone away? Or are we still doing that for everything?
I think
Or is it a dead topic?
I think that's gone away. People, who are my age or younger. I don't want to say our age because you guys are significantly older than me. But yeah, we had enough of that crap, man. We saw it firsthand. Like, this is bullshit.
Well, I saw it just in sports.
Yeah.
Kids' sports.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah, my kids.
Everybody got a trophy.
It was with my kids would go play baseball and they lost all their games, but they still got a trophy at the end because they wanted the kids to come back and.
I actually
Play
think
next
that
time.
happened somewhere between our age group and your age group.
Yeah.
Because our age group, we didn't grow up with participation ribbons,
No.
participation trophies.
No, it's the baby boomers that did it.
Well,
And you guys
I mean,
aren't.
the baby boomers were our parents.
Right.
Yeah, so
Right,
it wasn't
but
the baby
it wasn't
boomers.
the baby boomers. It was that
So-
next group. I want to say it was the
millennials. Or
I don't want to call it the millennials, but
the late-born Gen Xers.
it could be, yeah.
No. I was
Because we didn't
against
start
it.
seeing that stuff till
It was people
we
older
we
than
were
me.
in our 20s when all of a sudden we start seeing like every freaking kid is getting a
Yeah.
trophy at stuff. You
Yeah.
know?
So I think it was the Well,
Anybody older than me is
but
a
it wasn't.
baby
So
boomer.
It wasn't the people in the 20s that were making these policies. It was
No.
the people that are in the 30s. So it's
40s.
it's
The
that,
late
it's that group.
boomers.
It's that group. No, I think it's that group that was born kind of like during the 60s are the ones that started giving out free love to everybody.
the late boomers.
Yeah. Still baby boomers.
Yeah. Okay.
Man. Still screwed.
But it
us
wasn't.
today.
It wasn't us. We're not the ones that started that.
No.
I think we were the first ones to start questioning it.
Yeah, I remember when I saw
That's
it.
what I like about our
kids.
generation. Gen X questions everything.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, the Y generation.
Yeah. I think we were the ones who were like, "What's going on here? And why are we doing this? This makes no sense."
Yeah. I don't want anything to do with this. Leave me alone.
Right.
That was more my people my age. But we are technically the same generation. You and I.
Yeah, technically.
I'm
I'm on the front end, you're on the back
You're
end.
on the baby boomer side.
Dave's on the front end with me.
Millennial side. So with medals of honor in particular, that citation you wrote was very well written. How does the process start? You guys were both company commanders. If one of your soldiers does something worthy of a medal, do you get something from his lieutenant up, and it goes to the company commander, then it goes up the chain?
Well, I mean, typically, the squad leader, platoon sergeant will write the award, and then it'll go to. I mean, it just works its way up. But the first
edit?
signing authority on it is going to be your company commander.
Yeah. Do you edit and
Oh,
say,
absolutely,
hey, let's
absolutely,
touch this up a little bit?
Oh, you
because-
have to clean it up.
absolutely. Because you want to. It gets written one way, and then you want to make sure you're going in and I don't want to say you're not fluffing it, but you're trying to make sure that they're like if you can quantify something that they're trying to quantify it. If you can draw something out that draws more attention to what's being written, then you work with the person that's writing the award to try and elicit more of that. I don't want to say emotion. I mean, so as a company commander during Iraq, I awarded Bronze Star medals. Since you're going to talk about Bronze Star medals, I awarded Bronze Star medals to a corporal, 2 staff sergeants, sergeant first class, and I think 3 of my first sergeants.
There you go.
But and
how many companies?
and then 2.
Well, you were a company
hold on,
commander.
1,
but
2.
You had a weird setup.
3 of my 5 platoon leaders
Okay.
got Bronze Star medals. So when I listen to people talk about Bronze Star medals, I generally tend to stand quiet because a lot of people have assumptions.
Yes.
And they don't know. Like, would you have any idea? Would you have had any idea that I had in my company? I had a corporal and 2 staff sergeants get Bronze Star medals.
You wouldn't know.
Right, but you make assumptions that only officers are getting these medals. Only sergeant first class and above are getting these medals. And the fact is, it's not true.
Well, let's say me as a staff sergeant, and if I saw a corporal in E5 with a Bronze Star, I'm like, holy shit, that guy must have done something pretty damn amazing to get a Bronze
and
Star.
these guys did
But
some
then when you
amazing
see
stuff. But
a captain with a Bronze Star, you're like,
well, but the Bronze Star medal is also. And we're not talking valor; these are straight Bronze Star medals. But it's a recognition of people doing work that was either above their expertise level, or above their typical levels of responsibility. I mean, I had like the 2 staff sergeants. These guys were platoon sergeants. I mean, my company was like 220 soldiers, and I had over the course of 2 company commands, I had 8 first sergeants, which is really weird.
Yeah, that is.
Right. But the company that I went to Iraq with was my second company, and when I went to Iraq, I had the platoon sergeants were staff sergeants. My operations NCO was a E7. It's supposed to be an E8 position. Right. And at one point in time, that E7, who was my operations NCO, ended up being the first sergeant because the first sergeant I had to go back for medical reasons. This is one of the reasons why I had so many first sergeants. I kept losing them for really weird things. But the corporal, this is a guy that was taking on like the responsibility of a section sergeant.
Yeah. Okay.
But he was a corporal, and the stuff that we were like one of our missions was set up a fuel system supply point and then a hot refuel point during the invasion, and this was one of the guys that was responsible for the section that was doing that. And like we were told we had to have, I don't remember the exact hours, but I think they said we had to have it up and running within 18 hours of getting on the ground. Mm-hmm. And this guy made it, the things he did helped us get that thing up and running within 10 hours, which was wonderful because we were 8 hours ahead of schedule, which meant that I could put most of the soldiers that were there down to get some sleep before the helicopters start coming in.
Hell yeah.
You know, and that's the kind of thing that went into his write-up.
Yeah.
You know, he drove the setup operation as a corporal. He drove the setup operation and got us up and running well in advance of what everybody expected.
So people don't know, a corporal is an E4. Mm-hmm. You start out as a private, E1, private, E2, then private first class, then a specialist, and then you go like a sideways promotion to corporal, which you're a non-commissioned officer, usually in a leadership position. And when I was in, there was no corporals. There just wasn't a thing. I mean, there were you could promote somebody to corporal, but it was extremely rare.
Well, because you probably had sergeants and staff sergeants in the role. So he was a corporal because he was filling the role, but he was an E4. So we laterally transferred him into corporal. Yeah. But I mean, this is also a guy that, you know, one of my last acts as commander in his company is I helped write this guy's packet to get him into a warrant officer candidate school, and he ended up becoming a pilot.
Awesome.
So,
but also I should say that soldiers talk shit about each other all the time. Mm-hmm. And it's all comes from love, you know. So we're like, oh, look at this Bronze Star participation medal, blah blah blah. It's either jealousy or you love the guy, you know. And there's a lot of jealousy in the military too. Mm-hmm. There's a lot
with the engineers.
Well, yeah, a lot of people are jealous of us, Kevin.
No, I was thinking the other way. Yeah. No, that's okay.
No. So, if let's say it was peacetime, and you're doing a training operation, and that corporal did the same exact thing at Fort Bragg, you got him 18 hours, he set it up in 10, he probably would have been awarded ARCOM.
Could be.
Right.
Impact AAM at the battalion level, impact ARCOM at the brigade level, absolutely. Yeah. But again, that would be something that, you know, his leadership, you know, the leaders immediately above him would have to make that decision, hey, this was some good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to submit this. And then it comes to me and, you know, as a company commander, and I said, we did impact AMs and impact ARCOMs all the time.
Yeah. I'm sure you've probably had something come across your desk where you're like, you're only putting him in for an AEM for this? Like, dude, this should be at least Army Commendation Medal or more.
Absolutely. I think when, and this guy's name was Corporal Sarvis, when his first award came in from his platoon leader, and I looked at him like, it was an ARCOM. Like, no, we can make this better.
Yeah.
But the lieutenant writing that award wasn't with his platoon during the invasion. He's one that joined like halfway through the deployment. So he didn't know.
Yeah.
You know, but I did. And so we said, no, we're redoing this.
Yeah. Okay. That's called looking out for your soldiers.
Yeah. But, you know, the award system, though, especially the impact award system, what I love the most about the impact award system is you're recognizing somebody, but you're also encouraging the rest of the formation.
Sure.
To say, look, they know this guy's a superstar.
Yeah.
Right? But it's sort of like, yeah, he's going to get recognized for the work he's done, but you too can do that.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But you have to be him.
Napoleon.
You have to step up and do it. You step up and do what he was doing, and the same thing happened to you. The only thing holding you back from getting this is you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Every soldier's got an opportunity to excel.
I remember the first coin I was ever given by our battalion commander. And our battalion was in Hawaii. My company was in Fort Lewis, Washington. But my company commander called over, said, "Hey, give me some coins to hand out." And I got a battalion coin, 65th Engineer Battalion coin for doing something in the field. And I was like, you would have thought I won the Medal of Honor. I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. I was the only one in my platoon to get one during this training evolution. And yeah, I thought I was sticking my chest out. Thought I was the bee's knees. And it's still my favorite coin today. Still the one I want to hang on to forever. It works. The award system works.
Yeah, there are no awards that I have submitted that I regretted. Yeah. Not a single one.
Okay. Good, man. Yeah, I think all ribbons, all medals, all ribbons, they're all well deserved. They all are. Even if we talk shit about them, they're there's a lot of these medals of honor that were kind of like they were reviewed at the highest level. You know, let's say they were going to be a Silver Star or Distinguished Service Cross, and somebody said, no, this is a Medal of Honor. And that's kind of usually how it goes. Nobody goes out to write saying, award this young man
I
a
think
Medal of Honor.
I think that's what happened a lot in OEF and OIF.
Yeah.
I think there was a lot of stuff that happened where soldiers, Marines, Navy SEALs, whatever, did some really, really great stuff on the battlefield, and awards were knocked down.
Yeah.
Where somebody's making a judgment, saying,
That was
that's
done
not
on
enough.
purpose. I remember stories
Yeah.
about that going on. That was done on purpose because they didn't want to portray, again, too many medals being
Right.
given out for things. And that's why you have this group now that's been reviewing and upgrading so many.
Yeah.
But I mean,
like
we had
this,
20 years of war in Iraq and Afghanistan, and how many medals of honor does that group have?
Not much.
7, I think.
Yeah.
No, it's a little bit more than that, I think, because I think they've had some upgrades.
it's
Like
in
you
the-
remember remember
teens.
Corporal Swilling, that
Yes.
fight.
Yes.
So one of the guy, I just heard a podcast 2 weeks ago. One of the guy, the one guy at that outpost that got overrun, that survived, they upgraded him to Medal of Honor.
Yeah.
Okay.
And honestly, I mean, I listened to the podcast and I was like, I don't know about Medal of Honor. I mean, the guy survived.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was wounded in the first barrage, and all he did the rest of the time was pretty much just like throw grenades over the berm, type of thing.
Well, he didn't give up. But like this citation that we read today, how many times did that happen during the Global War on Terror? Like there's so many stories about
Without
a guy
write-ups.
without write-ups. Like it was just like in Fallujah. Like how many times did that happen?
I remember getting in an argument with somebody in the early 2000s, maybe, or mid 2000s, 2005, 2006, maybe, and somebody was saying they were talking. I think it was like a D-Day anniversary type thing.
Yeah.
And somebody said something to me like, "Oh, what those guys did, you'll never see that in today's Army. You'll never get people of that caliber that are running across the beach into machine guns and all that." I'm like, no, I think you're wrong.
Yeah.
I think that happens all the time. You just don't hear about it because it's at a smaller unit action. This isn't like a major operation across the beach, but it happens all the time where you got some hero that does some crazy stuff that's like, how did that guy possibly survive?
I think about the guys who fought through Fallujah and fallen into catacombs and
Ramadi.
that's
That's insane.
Or Mosul.
some scary stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just, I mean, dude, being in Afghanistan out in the middle of those mountains with an enemy that has defended those mountains for centuries against the greatest armies that have ever walked on the face of this earth.
Yep.
And you're a 22-year-old squad leader, team leader, and they're like, yeah, go hunt, patrol for Taliban out there. Like, dude, it's crazy stuff, man. What else we got, Kevin? On anything else on Medals of Honor?
Well, the only other thing I had was if you wanted to know kind of what, if you're a recipient, they have special privileges. It doesn't matter your rank.
They shouldn't have to pay taxes.
No way. We all shouldn't have to pay taxes, man.
Yeah, I'm with Matt on that one. But each Medal of Honor recipient obviously gets their name in Medal
Adjust
of
your
Honor roll.
microphone again.
What?
There you
Okay, sorry. Medal of Honor roll. They get, enlisted members get a supplemental, again, if they're living, right?
Yeah.
They get supplemental uniform allowance. They get a 10% increase on retirement pay if they stayed in until they're retired. Fully qualified children of recipients are automatically nominated to any of the service academies.
Yep.
Oh. How many of them take up on that offer?
Don't know.
Automatic entry.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. Even if you have like a 2.0 GPA?
Automatic entry.
Yeah. You're granted eligibility to be buried in Arlington National Cemetery.
Which is now a rare thing.
Yeah.
Because
It
they've
is.
removed a lot of the eligibility to be buried in Arlington.
Yeah, and they turned some of, like Fort
That's because
Jackson.
it's full.
Yeah.
There's no more room.
Fort Jackson just opened up a few years back a national cemetery to make room for.
Yeah.
But it's going to come down to where this thing that they're doing for Arlington is going to be Jefferson Barracks.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where it's going to go.
Well, down there at Jefferson Barracks, where the Walmart is and all that?
Yes.
That's Jefferson Barracks property.
Oh, do they
Walmart's
lease
leasing it from Jefferson Barracks.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
Yep. All that land there where all those those buildings are, shopping mall or shopping center and all that, that belongs to Jefferson Barracks. I only know that because I worked at Jefferson Barracks for a little bit.
Let's see. As of 2002, every awarded member gets a Medal of Honor flag. Recipients are invited to all future presidential inaugurations and inaugural balls.
Lame. That would actually be pretty fun.
The hobnob with
I'd go to the ball for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Make an ass out of myself.
They get, where is it? I can't find it. They also get, where's it at?
Don't they get?
Oh, there it is. They get
space available flight.
They do get that for them and their family members. And then they're entitled to receive a monthly pension above and beyond military pensions or any other benefits. And they recently raised it. I don't remember what the new total was, but right now, as of 23, it was $1,700 a month. But they did raise it. They just raised it. I don't remember what the number is now. I think it's over $2,000 a month. And then
I'm sure they're getting their probably 100% disability pay.
Probably. And then out of respect for Medal of Honor winners, regardless of rank, even if it's a higher ranked person, if they're wearing a Medal of Honor, you salute them.
Yeah.
Only the Air Force has it in their regulations that you must salute a Medal of Honor winner.
I didn't know
regardless of rank.
I thought you had to.
No, it's tradition. It's out of respect for all the other branches.
So it's one of the unwritten codes for the other services.
It is. So as a general walking past a corporal who's got the Medal of Honor, you salute them, but only in the Air Force do you have to salute them.
You remember the deleted scene from We Were Soldiers where the new cherry lieutenant was yelling at his platoon and he wanted to see them, and he's like, I want to see what kind of men are working for me, and go put your dress uniforms on. I want to see your medals. And then the one sergeant comes out just wearing his fatigues, and the lieutenant loses his shit and starts screaming at him, and go back and put your uniform on. And he's got this big old wicked scar on his face. So he comes back out butt naked with 2 medals of honor hanging around his neck. And the lieutenant stands there and salutes him.
What is the movie with about the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier?
Guardians of Stone.
Yes. And there's that one scene where the one private or corporal is walking up with the Medal of Honor.
I haven't seen that for a long time.
Great movie.
It is a good movie.
Man.
That's a rough movie to watch.
Yeah, it is.
Emotionally.
But it's a great movie. James Caan.
Mm-hmm.
James Earl Jones.
That's right.
There's some good scenes in that movie.
I'll have to go back and watch that.
Who came up with the concept of asexual reproduction?
Right.
Your wife? Your wife, Sergeant Major?
Yeah. Right in the middle of an inspection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, James Caan was a sergeant major, right? And
yep, he was the sergeant major of the old guard there.
Yeah.
Or no, James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones was a sergeant major.
I think Caan was like the first sergeant or something like that.
Was he? Okay. Yeah, that's awesome.
And then they got that great toast, that awesome toast.
What is it?
Here's to us and those like us. Damn few left.
Damn few left. Yeah. That's a good one.
We can do that now, right?
I don't know. My glass is empty. What are we drinking, Dave? What did you bring?
I brought.
Yeah, thanks for the donation.
Thank you very much.
Red Line, hand-selected, single barrel, cask strength, aged for 6 years. Straight bourbon whiskey.
Give us the details on there. Hang on a second.
Didn't you prepare details, Kev?
I do have some details.
Go ahead, you do it.
So this is from the Jim Beam family. It is distilled in Indiana and it's bottled in Kentucky. And you have to, when you're doing the red line cask strength, you have to know the details. And for instance, alcohol by volume 58.5%, proof is 117, which is now our highest proof bourbon that we're drinking. It is bottle number 187 of barrel number 145. This is important on the cask strength because cask strength means that they are doing nothing to the barrel when it's bottled. It's coming right out of the barrel, straight into the bottle. So it's It's non-chill filtered, which means that it's not non-chill filtered, which means that if there's any particulate, a little bit of cloudiness, you're going to get that right into the bottle.
Nice.
And they are not proofing it to a specific level, like if you had Angel's Envy, which is always 52.2 something. And then, so you're getting it, every barrel is different.
Like even the bottle's numbered. It's bottle what?
It's bottle 187. But every barrel is different on cask strength. So this is barrel number 145, and the proof is 117.
Well, I would imagine the bottles are probably different as the barrel gets lower and lower. It's probably pouring out something different, right?
Could be. Huh?
Yeah, possible. But, you know, like
I don't think it'll be that much difference.
Not much, but
but barrel,
like the very top and the very bottom, maybe, but everything in the middle is probably
right.
about
Like,
what's
you know,
settled has settled already.
So barrel 148, barrel 150, whatever, might have a proof of 115, 118, 113.
Okay.
Every barrel is going to be different.
So they're not adding distilled water to.
They're doing nothing
make it
to
all
it.
the same.
So
I like that.
every barrel, even though it's the same name, every single barrel could have a different flavor profile.
Great. I like that.
That's what makes it unique.
I like that, but I also like consistency too. When you know what you're getting when you buy. So if you buy like Four Roses single barrel,
I love Four Roses single barrel.
You know,
that's my go-to.
you know what you're getting.
Well, yeah, that's right, because there is something to be said for that, because barrel number 146 could absolutely suck.
Yeah, but that makes it kind of fun too. The gamble.
It is.
All right, what did we think about
You got
this
the
one,
mash
boys?
bill on it?
Hold on.
It is, I do. Hang on, let me find it.
Because I think I looked it up too.
The mash bill is 75% corn, 21% rye, 4% malted barley.
Yep, that's what I had.
It is a multiple award winner. It's got just about every award in the books for it. And Dave, you're our guest. Tell me what you thought about it. Go through the flavor profile, aroma, taste, palette.
So first to tell you the story about the actual bottle. So Kevin and I went to a Red Line distillery tasting at the Rack House in Cottleville. And they basically had 5 different bottles of Red Line. And I ended up buying 4. I bought 2 of this one, and I bought 2 that were finished in cognac casks.
Oh, okay.
And then the other ones were just basic Red Line, or there's something else that. But this one I enjoyed, and so I ended up buying 2 bottles. So and I ended up getting a little bit, paying a little bit less than I probably would have paid standard retail. Because
what is
being a
retail?
member, retail was anywhere between $80 and 125. I don't remember what I paid. But I do remember at the time that I looked it up, and I think it saved me like $5 to $10 or something like that. What do I get out of it? Like, I mean, I can smell the heat when I put my nose in.
Yeah.
I mean, I can definitely get the heat from it. I kind of got from the smell, and you guys might think this is weird, but I kind of got like cake, kind of like yellow cake, a little bit, and then. For the flavor profile, for me, I got more hints of like chocolate, cocoa, but mostly in the middle of my tongue. The tip of my tongue was kind of overwhelmed by the heat.
Yeah, I agree.
But the middle of the tongue is where I start getting the flavor and all that. And I felt like it's got a good lingering. Like to me, one sip lingers in there for about a minute. And I like that. I like that. That to me, that's a good linger.
Yeah, nice. So, what would you get this out of 5 stars? What do you think?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd probably put it at 4.5.
Oh,
I like it. Well, I mean, but your rating system, how you guys rate things is you. How I rate things is me.
Sure.
This one is one that I would buy again. I put it 4. Now, I mean, you already know what I put as number 5. Like I'll put Bellmead Madeira casket as a 5. I'll put Four Roses single barrel as a 4.5. You know,
all right.
So that's where I'm at in my
rankings.
Oh, really?
It's all subjective for sure.
Oh, I love Four Roses single barrel.
Well, I do too. Okay.
But that's I would put this at a 4.5. I put this on the same level as a Four Roses single barrel. Although I think this is a little bit hotter than a Four Roses single barrel.
Yeah.
What
For
do you
me, the aroma for me was like an apple pie spice, or like a watermelon Jolly Rancher. It was an odd flavor. And again, Dave's saying, yellow cake. And, for the folks listening, there is no wrong answer. Everyone has their own unique way of interpreting what they're tasting.
That's Kevin's way of saying I'm wrong.
Nope.
Opinions are like assholes.
Everybody's
has
got
them.
one. Most of them stink except for mine.
Mine could be way wrong. And then as far as taste, again, it's the obvious. Cinnamon, I agree with Dave on the chocolate. The chocolate notes were definitely there. Tip of the tongue, the heat hit it, kind of killed it a little bit. You got to kind of let it settle in your mouth, swish it around some to figure out the flavors.
Got to chew on it a bit.
Yep. And, a little bit of heat. It does linger. I don't think it lingers. My lingering is different than most because the way I think about linger, I linger on flavor and not necessarily heat. And if that kind of, the thickness of the body of that isn't lingering around, to me it kind of dropped off kind of quick.
Oh.
Not real fast, but, And then I did add a little bit of water to mine after my initial taste. I wanted to see what it would do to it. And a little bit of the water kind of brought out the oakiness of the red line. And it didn't lessen the heat, but it took off the sharp edges of the heat.
Yeah, that's
and
really,
kind of let it flow a little bit better.
Okay.
What about you, Matt?
How many stars?
I give it 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5.
Yeah.
So on the smelling it, I got like cinnamon candy, like a hard, like with those old discs, cinnamon discs.
You stuck on the Red Hot still?
Maybe like not Red Hots, but this was like a hard candy back in the day. It had like a cellophane wrapper.
Oh yeah. I remember those.
And
Usually
then,
in your grandma's candy dish.
or spiced apple cider. I think I used the Glühwein reference. It's kind of like a dark fruity spice. Taste, it was cloves and vanilla and dark cherries for me.
I do like your Glühwein reference.
Yeah. Drop a little water in there, Matt, and try it.
No, I'm not going to.
No, you should. You should prove it down just to see how it changes.
Okay.
Because it does. I just added a little bit of water to mine, and it does change the profile.
How was the finish for you?
I thought it was full-bodied. To me, I considered it full-bodied because it kind of coated my entire mouth. It has what I would call like oily legs, like very long legs that stick to the glass. They kind of don't go anywhere. It just coats the glass, but it's not super thick. Like I'm trying to think of what we had before that was like syrupy.
Viscosity.
Yeah. We've had some before where I was like, something's funky about this, like fake thickness to it or something. But this is very good. Full-bodied, oily legs, I said. Amber color. It sticks on this. The heat for me, I can still. It's kind of like if you eat a jalapeno, and that heat that's left over in your mouth. It's not super overpowering heat. It's just you can feel a little tingle of it later.
The only thing I had for tasting on the legs that was more than what this one would have been Old Forester, what we did last week. When you're talking about the legs and
that does
the creaminess.
Soften the edges, I guess, is what you would say, huh? Yeah,
It changes the taste.
It does. This would be good with like a distilled water ice cube, maybe. 1 cube. That would be really good. So I was looking back through my book. Old Forester is similar but a little bit skewed. And I kept looking over at our bottle collection there. I'm looking at the McKenna Bottle and Bond that we tasted that we really, really liked. And I put this up there with that. I give this one, I'm with Dave, 4.5 stars on this one.
Yeah, that's not a real cork.
No, it's not.
No. Lame.
Disappointing as you might be.
Yeah, this is good, man. Thank you very much, Dave, coming through. Oh, damn, man.
Oh, sorry. You don't have to drive.
No.
3 ounces. No, that's about 2 fingers.
2 of my big, thick fingers. All right. Dave, the last time you were on the show, we were talking about your deployments, and we only got, like, probably not even halfway through your career, right? Because you were a captain in OIF-1.
That's OEF-1, OIF-1, I was a captain. OIF-3, I was a captain/major.
What did you do in between 1 and 3? You had a very short stay at home, right?
Well, so after OF1, I actually...
How long was that deployment? Was that 18 months?
No, OF1, that was the invasion. It was just 12 months.
12 months,
Yeah,
okay.
we were at 12-month stints then.
Okay.
Right? So I came back, came out of command, and that my schedule or my timing was way off, and so I couldn't get anything I wanted in terms of a follow-on assignment.
Who does?
Yeah, but what I did is I ended up at Jefferson Barracks.
Oh, okay.
Because they were like, hey, we got 4 ACRC slots, and they're here, and Jefferson Barracks was like, oh, God damn.
Explain what ACRC is first.
So ACRC is active component, reserve component. So basically they assign active component guys into reserve component units to help make them better.
Yeah, improve readiness.
Yeah, and so they said Jefferson Barracks is available, and I was like, oh, I guess I'll take Jefferson Barracks. Yeah. Being from St. Louis and all that, it just kind of like, okay, I'm gonna let them know I'm disappointed, but yeah, I'll do it.
Right.
And in my role at Jefferson Barracks was to go out at this time. This is in 2004. My role was to go out and mobilize Guard and Reserve units, and basically evaluate them and get them ready for deployment.
20 years ago already.
Yeah. So
damn.
I was in that role for 6 months, and during that 6 months, I probably spent half the time out at Fort Riley, Kansas, mobilizing Guard and Reserve units. And then, so I came out of command in May, and then went into. I took like a month off for leave.
Yeah.
And then in December, all of a sudden, I was told, "Hey, guess what? You're going back." And I had been assigned to a MIT team. And like on the 20th of December, I was told you need to report to Fort Hood on 3 January.
So what's a MIT team for the folks?
So a MIT team is a military transition team.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a training team for the Iraqi
job
forces.
you can get.
It's
actually awesome.
It is actually probably the best job I had in the Army.
Yeah. A lot of people, I knew a lot of guys because reserve drill sergeants were used as MIT team leaders, and I knew a lot of guys that went to do it, and they come back and they're like, dude, you would not believe the clusterfuck.
Yeah, no, it was it was the best job, but it's also the worst job.
Yeah,
all right, so it was a combination of both. Anyway, so I don't know what my luck is about getting told I'm getting ready to deploy right before Christmas and then leaving right after Christmas. That happened to me on 2 of my deployments of my 4.
That always seemed to be a routine.
Yeah.
Because even when I deployed, it was you got alerted right after Thanksgiving and you're gone.
Yeah. But I was notified on the 20th of December.
Yeah.
That you need to be at Fort Hood on the 3rd of January. I'm like, you got to be kidding me! Like I just got back.
Yeah.
I've already got 20 months of deployment time.
Yeah.
In the last 2 years.
Right.
So and really I gotta go, like really. Anyway, so I went, and so we went. We were going to be a team, a 10-man team, and we were going to be basically advising for an Iraqi motor transport regiment. And so went down to Fort Hood for 2 weeks. When I saw the 75th Division commander, I complained to him like, "What the heck, dude? Why am I doing this?"
Yeah.
We had a guy that got mobilized. He'd been back for just over 30 days from a deployment, and and so what happened is this reserve division had heard some rumor that they were going to pull all the active component guys out and send them back to the line units, and so they weren't going to have them. So when this tasking came down, they filled it with only active component guys.
So they wouldn't lose
their own guys, right? Anyway, so went over to Iraq in January. Probably January. We were only at Fort Hood for 2 weeks, so went over to Iraq in January, and when we got there, our 10-man team was told you're going to be split in half. There's actually 2 Iraqi truck regiments.
Yeah.
And so suddenly we're like, instead of 10 men, we're 5. And we're going to go to this, the group I was with is going to go to the 2nd Iraqi Army Motor Transport Regiment.
Out of where? What located?
This was down in Numania, Iraq, which is down near Al Kut.
Okay.
So it's kind of like southeast of Baghdad.
Yeah, that used to be the British area, right?
Well, it's kind of it's like halfway between Baghdad and Basra.
Okay.
So, the Marines went through there during the invasion.
Yeah.
And shot up a lot of the buildings.
Yeah,
on the camp that we were at.
Much left.
No, there's still buildings there. They were built by Soviet contractors, but they were still there. But they had a lot of bullet holes in them. It was pretty cool. But so we get there, and they said, so you're going to be in the 2nd Iraqi Transport Regiment. So we 5 of you. And they found some reserve MI officer to assign to us, and they found a reserve medic who was actually like his full-time job in the U.S. was he was an RN.
Oh.
And San Antonio.
That's pretty good.
So, but I mean, he was a medic.
Yeah.
He was he's a very weird guy, though.
Really?
He was really good at doing medical stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but his soldier skills were just completely lacking.
Yeah.
He had no idea what he was doing.
Probably worked in hospitals his whole career.
Yeah, but he was great. I mean, and eventually we had him teaching combat lifesaver training to the Iraqi soldiers in our regiment.
Good.
So I mean, he paid off. I mean, he was great in terms of what he did.
Mm-hmm.
But this is also a guy that lost weapons.
Oh no!
Like go on a mission, he gets out of the Humvee and he loses his pistol. I'm like, what the hell, dude? Anyway, so yeah, 2nd Iraqi Motor Transport Regiment.
Mm-hmm.
We have 7 people on our team. We have 4 up armored Humvees. 7 people. Like, you do the math.
Oh yeah.
So our first 3 months of missions,
Just sitting on each other's laps.
well, yeah, our first 3 months of missions, we would run. Whenever we were running a convoy with the Iraqi Army.
7 people in 4 Humvees?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so I'm getting ready to tell you how we had to do that. So what the Iraqi Army didn't have is they did not have radios. They didn't have the ability to call for medevac. They didn't have the ability to call for gunship support. They didn't have any of that, right?
Okay.
And so that's that's ostensibly what we were bringing to the game. I mean, we're coaching, teaching, and mentoring them.
Yeah, but we don't want to give them a Synchronous radio.
But from a combat capability perspective, we've got to be able to. We had to provide those things that they didn't have.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when we'd run on missions, we'd run a convoy operation with the Iraqis. Typically speaking, we would have at least 3 Humvees on the mission. So go back to 7 people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you man 3 Humvees? 3 up armor Humvees.
Yeah.
All right.
One guy driving, one in the turret.
Well, that's actually not. Well, this is how we did it. We had an American driver,
Mm-hmm.
an American vehicle commander, because we had Blue Force Tracker. That's the person that was operating the radios,
Okay.
right?
Sure.
That was the key weapon system we had, was the radios.
Yes.
Right. And then we'd have an Iraqi officer in the back seat,
Okay.
an interpreter in the back seat, and an Iraqi gunner
Oh boy.
on up armored Humvees. And that's how we ran our missions for probably the first 3 months, until somebody said, "You guys don't have enough people." They actually attached us to they attached our Iraqi regiment to an American brigade down in Talil.
Oh, okay.
And when the American brigade the U.S. Army brigade down in Talil saw what we had, they're like, "We're going to give you more people, and we're going to give you more Humvees."
Well,
and so they gave us like 30 soldiers plus another 4 up armored Humvees. And those 30 soldiers, their skill sets, they range from specialist to staff sergeant. No, sergeant first class. Specialist to sergeant first class. And 1 major. And then, but what most of those guys, their skill sets, they were, and this was a reserve unit, but those guys were, their primary job back in the reserves, back in the States, they were instructors for AIT.
Yeah.
Right? That was like you were a reserve drill sergeant. These guys were reserve instructors.
Yeah.
And so, which was great, because now we could actually teach these Iraqis how to drive,
soldier skills and all that. Yeah.
And so that's how we ran from then on. The rest of the tour, I mean, we were beefed up a little bit better.
That's good. That's great.
So we were able to assign, when we started with that regiment, there was 1 person in the regiment, and I was regimental commander. And we took 1 company from the 1st regiment, and that company ended up being the cadre for the 2nd regiment. So that company we took from the 1st regiment ended up being like the squad leaders, platoon sergeants, first sergeants. They were the guys that fleshed out the leadership for the 2nd regiment.
Okay.
And then we actually had a recruiting effort at Numania where
those could be dangerous.
It was sporty.
Yeah.
But they brought in a whole bunch of Iraqis, and we had these
Did you have
Iraqi soldiers doing the interviews, and we're out there. And
did you have an intelligence unit there to vet people, like counterintelligence?
No,
people?
we were. This was the wild west.
Yeah. So this was what?
No,
04?
I will tell you. I will tell you. So let me back up just a little bit. When we got our first 4 Humvees, our first 4 Humvees came with no crew served weapons and no radios. And so for our first missions, we were going out borrowing stuff.
Oh no.
We took Iraqi PKM machine guns, went down to a maintenance unit to Lille, and said, "I need you to fabricate pintles so you can mount this on an up armored Humvee." And that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, PKMs are not bad though. Yeah. That would be pretty cool.
But but initially we were borrowing 249s, 240s. We were borrowing radios until we actually got our stuff. We were going out there. The 5 guys on our team, 1 was an HR sergeant first class. The other 4 were all logistics officers.
Yikes.
So, but the thing was, having been over there before, and knowing the system, knowing how the Army system works, like when we got there, when we realized what we had, like we immediately went to different fobs, and we're like trying to find people we know, and we go to people we know and say, hey, how's it going? You know, you do the handshake and all that other good stuff. Hey, catch up. But then you say, hey, the reason I'm here is this is my job, and I need some help. And that's how we got like all our Class 3 package products.
Feels sorry for you.
That's how we got everything we needed for our vehicles. Is we were going out and just begging,
good old Army,
and
man,
borrowing.
I'll tell you what.
No stealing.
No stealing.
As far as
there's
you know.
no such thing as stealing in the Army.
Yeah,
you acquire.
You're just getting it back to where it's supposed to be to begin with.
Right.
But
so this was 2004.
This was 2005, January 2005.
Okay, so this is the increase of the insurgency, right before the surge in 06. Was that the official surge?
I think the surge started about 07.
07?
I think when things were starting to get out of hand, that's when the surge started.
Ramadi was going insane.
So you had Fallujah in 04, and then you had Fallujah again later.
Yeah.
And then I think you had Ramadi in there as well.
05, 06, I think that's when it was. So
Mosul started turning to crap in 2005.
Okay. So down where you were at in southeastern Iraq, what kind of missions were you running?
So the bulk of our missions initially, I mean, we literally were getting missions like right off the bat.
Damn.
And then we had to figure out.
You're still trying to teach people how to
we're trying
get in a Humvee.
We're trying to train them. So we're having to use that first company that came over. I mean, they were the bulk. I mean, we literally had to do missions where we'd drive up to Taji and then pick up our trucks for the Iraqi regiment and then drive them back.
And Taji was northern Iraq, isn't it?
Well, Taji's north of Baghdad. Yeah. But it's not northern Iraq.
I'm thinking of
Taji's before it's before Talil.
I'm thinking of
not Talil.
I'm thinking of
what was the other base up there? There's a huge one up there.
So it was Camp Taji, right?
Yeah, so you're coming out of Baghdad to the north on MSR1, and then Taji was probably about maybe 30, 40 minutes north of Baghdad.
Okay. Was that Nasiriyah up there or something like that?
No, Nasiriyah is actually
south.
Nasiriyah is south, yeah. Nasiriyah was like southwest of where we were.
Okay. So you guys were just picking up equipment, bringing it back down south?
Yeah, so we'd drive our Iraqis up there, we'd pick up, 25-ton trucks, and then we'd drive them back. And everything the Iraqis were getting was unarmored.
That's great.
No, it was. It was. I mean, we were looking at the 5-ton truck. We were looking at the data plates on these 5-ton trucks we were picking up, and the data plates on these things, they were built in the 50s. Yeah. Or not 50s, 60s and early 70s.
Vietnam.
These were old vehicles.
Yeah.
They came out of the pre-post stock. APS-1, APS-2 down in Qatar or Kuwait, wherever.
Stuff that just sits in storage waiting for war.
So, but we were driving these up-armored vehicles.
So what was the IED threat like? What was your...
So the IED threat at that point was pretty high already. And we got hit a lot. Mm-hmm. And the unarmored vehicles took a beating. Just absolute beating. Yeah. But, I mean, it was... Now, one of the things we did, again... the hillbilly armor. Like one of the things that we did as logisticians is like we know how to work the system. So we went down to Talil and we found a maintenance unit. And we're like, hey, can you guys up army these Iraqi 5-tons? So that our Iraqi unit is not running completely unprotected. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a good story for that. And we found a unit that would agree to do that. Yeah. And they were taking scrap metal and they were actually making armor for the cabs of the trucks. They couldn't armor the backs, but they would armor up the cabs. They would armor up the cabs of the trucks. And
so were they transporting troops in the back of those 5-tons?
They were.
Holy
some of our missions did include that.
Oh, yikes!
And I can get into that a little bit later. But one of the first things we did as the advisors is we took the armor that they were putting on the Iraqi vehicles, and we just set the armor up. And then we'd do like a demonstration. We'd fire a PK machine gun at it. We'd fire an AK-47 at it, and the armor wasn't piercing. Yeah. Right? The AK-47 hit no problem. The PKM would hit it, and there might be a little bit of spall in the backside. Yeah. But then, just for fun, and this was only like 25 meters, but just for fun, we demonstrated to the Iraqi unit what our AR-15s would do. Yeah. Of course, our AR-15s with the steel penetrating tips. Yeah, we were going straight through it. Yeah. And the Iraqis were like, we were trying to make a point. Yeah. And the point was,
we're better than this.
This is going to protect you from what the bad guys are shooting at you, but it's not going to protect you from us.
Yeah.
If that's where you want to go.
Right.
And it worked.
Good.
But we used to joke. But we would train them. We'd train them in basic soldiers tact. We would run like basically a truncated basic training, about 2 weeks basic training for the new Iraqi soldiers that we brought into the unit.
Yeah.
And that's where I was able, I told you I spent time at Fort Jackson. So I was able to like take that experience and say, okay, like all the Fort Jackson stuff that we don't need, out. The stuff that we do need is in. So like you teach 3 to 5 second rush. Right. We were teaching 5 to 7 second rush. 5 to 7. Just in case we ever have to go back and get these guys again.
Yeah, for real.
But we approached the unit in a way that I think we realized early on we're living with Iraqi soldiers, and we approached it in a way, and I don't think every American unit did this. In fact, I think there's very few that did it. But we went in there, and naturally we're talking amongst ourselves, and we were scared.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, we were scared. But we said, look, we have to trust these guys. We have to. There's no way that we are going to mentally survive a year if we don't trust them to some degree.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that we did and is we approach it from a perspective. The only way we're going to trust these guys if we've got to treat them like American soldiers. If we treat them like American soldiers, we treat them just like we treat our own soldiers, and we do things for them just like we do our own soldiers. That's going to build that level of trust. And so whenever we made force protection improvements for like the building we were in, we would do the same thing for their buildings.
Oh, okay.
When we're running wire around our pod on the base, it wasn't just for us. It was for our unit.
Yeah.
We went to we had a 1-star, and one of the first things we did with him is we asked him, like, hey, this is the Iraqi unit patch.
American 1-star? Or
American 1-star. Like, this is the Iraqi unit patch. We want permission to put this patch on our uniforms. And so we did. We put it below our unit patch, but we wore the Iraqi patch on our uniform because we told them, hey, we're just like you. Yeah. There was some, before we actually got the patches, there's something else we did. It was kind of unusual, but like 3/4 inch cotton webbing type stuff.
Yeah.
So in order to identify the vehicles that we're going to be picking up, we would tie like a 3/4 inch cotton webbing strip around each side view mirror on the truck.
Okay.
And then that's how we knew we'd go up to Taji. We'd identify which trucks we're picking up and taking back. But we put these, we tell the Iraqis we could go to the trucks that have these. And the Iraqis kept those pieces of cloth on their side view mirrors the entire time. And so we put those on our vehicle side view mirrors too.
Okay.
It was like this is our unit. This is our unit marking.
Yeah.
Is we'd have this cotton webbing. Okay. So we would do everything we possibly could to make them feel like, hey, we're part of you. You're part of us.
Yeah.
We're together. We're a team. Now we still did some things like on the low key in terms of our own self-preservation.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
For example, in the building we were in, we had all of our interpreters on the first floor. We had like a kind of like a CQ desk every night that was manned with an armed U.S. soldier on the first floor. The second floor of the building was where all of our offices were, like offices, the kitchen, things like that. And then the third floor is where we stayed. And there's 2 stairwells in that building. And what we did is at the top of the stairwells, we had a 20 millimeter ammo container at the top of the stairwell that was filled with fragmentation grenades. Because our Alamo plan was we're going to defend the 3rd floor and we're just going to drop grenades down the stairwell. That's how we're going to keep them from getting up. Yeah. We're going to defend the top floor. We did a rehearsal for an evacuation, like an Alamo type event if we needed to be evacuated. We did 2 rehearsals actually. We did a ground rehearsal and we did an aerial rehearsal. And so what we did was, we went up on the roof of the building. We're going to have a helicopter come in, land on the roof of the building, pick us up, and take us out of it. That was one of our evac plans. The other evac plan was a convoy, an armored convoy from Scania was going to come up, fight their way in, get us and go out. So one day we decided we're going to do our rehearsals because we want to make sure we know what the plan is. And so I'm up on the rooftop of the building. And Iraqis have no idea what's going on. Yeah. I'm up on the rooftop of the building with the radio, and I'm talking to Polish helicopters, and they come in with 2 hips and 2 high knees. Oh, wow. And they just fly in, and the 2 high knees are just circling our pod, right? And the 2 hips come in, and they do like touch and goes on the rooftop, and then they fly away. And then the same day we had the up armored or
those hinds are extremely intimidating.
Yeah, it's very Wolverines like. Yeah. And then we had the ground convoy come in, and they came in, and they so they knew where we were at, and they did their thing, and then they left.
Cool.
And then afterwards, the regimental commander comes up and goes, "What was that all about?" And I was like, "No idea." So I mean, like I said, we're gonna tell them everything, but whenever we made force protection improvements, we made it for the entire pod. We made it for all the Iraqis.
Okay.
Like during Ramadan, I did Ramadan with the Iraqis. I wouldn't eat during the day
until sundown, right?
Yeah. The only concession I made was I said, look at me. I have to drink. This is August.
Yeah, you have to drink water.
I have to drink water. Yeah. So that's how. That's the only thing I'm going to do different is I'm going to drink water. But otherwise, I'm doing it with you. I'm part of you guys. And so I'd break fast with them.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean I go in, I'd eat in their dining facilities with them. I'd eat in the officers' mouth with the officers. That was we try to be part of the same unit.
Did you ever have any green on blue incidents?
Actually, most of the green on blue. No, I wouldn't say I had any green on blue.
Okay.
I think during that tour I had more blue on blue.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, like people shooting at your Iraqis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shooting at us as well. I mean, I remember one time we were on a mission and we were on MSR1 and there was a Bradley parked in the median up there.
Oh shit.
And we start coming up and we're flashing they flash some sort of light at us, and so we flash some sort of light at them, right back at them. Next thing you know, I've got 20 millimeter going over my head. I'm like, what the fuck? And so we stopped. I mean, we straight up stopped. We just kept flashing. And then we started moving slowly forward, and I pulled up next to the Bradley. I'm like, and I got out. I'm like, what the hell was that? And there's like, what are you talking about? Like you guys just shot at us. I said, no, we didn't.
No, that wasn't us.
Yeah, you did. Anyway, but
some kind of death blossom.
Oh well, I'll get to that if you want me to. But
yeah.
But for Iraqi stuff, I mean, the Iraqis initially they were scary. It was scary because every day there'd be like a negligent discharge.
Yeah.
Because these guys walk around with AK-47s. They don't have them on safe.
Full auto too, probably.
Yeah,
huh?
Don't have them on safe, and accidents happen.
Yeah.
And it took us probably 3 months before we got that down to nothing.
Yeah, my buddy was he did an Iraqi mid team and an Afghan mid team, and he said that they would be patrolling and you'd have one guy negligent discharge, and that was a signal to his buddies to ambush the. And he was like, man, we were getting set up left and right.
Yeah, no, these weren't. At least during my tour, this was not. There was no setups. This was just. This is just guys. No trigger discipline. No comprehension of. This is the dangerous end of the weapon.
Yes. Muzzle discipline.
Like one of the things we did every night is we'd have an officer of the guard every night, and our officer, whoever it was, would go and get with whoever the watch officer was, the Iraqi unit. We'd take an interpreter and we'd do checks of the pod. Like we'd walk around the pod. And I remember one night, I think I was feeling pretty comfortable at this point, and I actually went out there. I had no body armor on. I didn't have any weapons with me. I'm like, this is my unit. Yeah. I'm confident. I'm going to show that I'm confident what they do. And we walked around, and we stopped at one of the guard points, and they didn't do the challenger password. There's a challenger password every night, even inside our pod, and it was Arabic. So I got to learn the Arabic challenge. Anyway, so they didn't do it. And so we talked to him for a little. We stopped talking to him for a little bit about this is why you do the challenge and password. This is why it's important. Blah blah blah. And we started to walk away, and maybe got 10 feet, and there was something else I wanted to tell him. I don't even remember what it was. There was something else I wanted to tell him. So I turned around and went back, and I couldn't have taken like 3 steps. And next thing you know, I got an AK-47 pointed at my chest, and I know this weapon's on. It's got to be on. It's got to be on fire. I know it's on fire. And I'm like looking at him, and my interpreter and the Iraqi officer, they're looking, and they're like, what's going on here? And I'd start laughing, and then he put his weapon down. I'm like, all right, like we were literally just talking.
Yeah.
Like he did the challenge and password with me.
Sure.
I'm like, dude,
seriously.
I'm like, we were literally just talking. You don't need to do the challenge and password when you're just talking with me.
Yeah.
Because you knew who I was. You didn't know who I was 5 minutes ago, but you knew who I was right then. But that was probably the scariest I've ever been in my life because I could see myself just getting accidentally lit up.
Yeah.
By an AK-47.
He probably had his finger on the trigger and everything.
I'm sure he did.
Yeah.
But that was I mean, so there was always that little hint of fear.
Yeah.
But you had to overcome it with some level of trust, because if you didn't have that level of trust, I think we would have gone insane. Yeah. Like if we'd been, like we actually had an officer on one of the 5 men. We had to kick him off the team.
Oh, really?
Like we had to when that same 1-star came up and he asked what we needed. I actually pulled him the 1-star. At this point, I was a major. I pulled this 1-star. So I said, "Hey, I need you to find a different job for this guy." Because every time he opens his mouth, he sets us back. Because he was not with the rest of us in terms of he didn't agree with our concepts, and so and we got him removed, which ended up being a good thing because every time he opened his mouth, he set us back. Those are the hard things you got to do. But I know you mentioned Iraqi Death Blossom, so
yeah.
I don't know that I'm the person that coined it, but I'm pretty sure I am.
But it's still a good story.
And it got around. So the Iraqi, if you remember the movie The Last Starfighter.
Yes.
Where
is that Louis Gossett Jr. in that?
Yes, he is in it. He plays like the villain. But they have this, they hit the button and all of a sudden their starfighters start spinning and shooting everywhere. It was called the Death Blossom, right? Yeah. And so I coined that on one of our early missions. We were on a mission and we were the Trail Humvee. And we're just riding along, and all of a sudden the Iraqi gun truck in front of us. The gun truck would have like a machine gun up on the cab of the truck, and then they'd have guys in the back. Yeah, and those the gun trucks we did armor the back. Yeah, so they could put folks back in there so they could shoot. They could be shooters. And one time, all of a sudden, the gun truck in front of us just started shooting, and they were shooting left, right, and straight up in the air. Oh, and I'm like, what the hell are they shooting at? I'm sitting in the TC seat, and I'm like, we're the last vehicle in the convoy. I'm like, talk to the gunner. What are they shooting at? He's like, I have no idea. Like, did somebody shoot at us? Did you hear something? He's like, I didn't hear anything. Like, what are they shooting at? I think they might be shooting at some cows. I'm like, they're shooting everywhere, and that's what would happen whenever we would get hit. Yeah. The first impulse was they would all start shooting, no matter where it was. On that particular mission, we got hit twice on that particular mission, and because I remember that when we had an IED go off, like we were on an overpass or Cloverleaf, and we were the last vehicle, so we already had vehicles above us going that direction while we're still approaching the overpass. Yeah, and all of a sudden an IED goes off on the Cloverleaf, and the Iraqis just start shooting everywhere. Like I'm looking, and I'm seeing the Iraqis that are above us shooting down and hitting the road in front of us. I mean, they're not looking; they're just shooting. They're full auto and they're shooting. And I remember reaching up and grabbing the gunner and just pulling him down. I'm like, there's nothing to shoot at. Yeah. So, but I don't want you to get accidentally hit. So I literally reached back with my left hand and grabbed him by his probably his body armor or something, just pulled him in. Yeah. And said, hey, we're gonna ride this out. But that, I mean, and then after the fight, we'd get up to Taji, and we'd conduct interviews. Yeah. AAR this thing. What happened? Yeah. And we interviewed every single Iraqi soldier on that mission because we were going up there to pick up vehicles and bring them back. Right. So, but we interviewed every single soldier, and out of all of them, 2 of them didn't shoot. The other 27 fired their weapons. Like, what were you shooting at? And they all said, I don't know. Yeah. But 2 guys didn't shoot, but they were the 2 that said they thought they saw the trigger man. Wow. Like, 2 of these guys, 2 separate guys in 2 separate vehicles said, yeah, I think I saw the trigger man up on the rooftop holding a cell phone.
So that's not positive
And I'm
ID.
like, and you didn't shoot? Yeah. And like all the other guys, they did shoot, and it's like,
wow.
But that was what we were working with, right?
Yeah. Well, you remember like at Fort Jackson at basic training when you do your field FTX at the end, and somebody would be, you're on the perimeter, these guys are sitting in their little firing positions. Somebody would start shooting, then everybody starts shooting. Yeah. And it's a learning curve that you have to say, like, look, you scan your field of fire for targets. If you don't have a target, you don't shoot. Yeah. That's it. Don't turn around and try to, worry about the guy behind you because they got their sector.
That one particular story, at the time, you had a blog.
I did.
Online, which was phenomenal. I love that blog.
It was. I would get emails from general officers telling me this is exactly how to do a weblog.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then he had his little secret code, which was a little AR, little button, real tiny thing hidden in there. and if you clicked on it, it took you into a deeper blog that had more stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
It was really neat. And I distinctly remember your little Death Blossom story because you put on there the radio traffic that was taking place at that time. And I remember reading about that and going, I was just amazed at what was going on. And it's a totally different story. And if you're able to, I still say to this day that if you could pull all that out,
I still have it all.
Yeah.
Put it all together, because everyone's all putting out books and things about their experiences in Iraq, Afghanistan. That's a book by itself.
Yeah, at least for
It
your,
really
for your
is.
grandchildren,
So I
great-grandchildren.
ran that blog, and then something happened with somebody else running a blog, and
Yeah.
it created some sort of controversy. And the next thing you know, the same general officers that had written me email saying this is a great blog said you need to shut that down.
Yeah.
Right, and then you did the secret part.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's
why
when-
in the secret part.
And that's when you had the little AR button, and you clicked on it, and that had all the stuff that you really had. It was still out there.
Nice.
That was really good.
It was fun. It was fun doing it, but
So
I had a
how
lot of
long-
hope for my brother. So
How long was that deployment?
It was 1 year.
1 year?
One
Okay.
year. Yep.
And that was 04 to
Oh,
05?
that was January
05,
to
06?
December 05.
Okay.
That was that period of time that you were deployed, because again, you and I, Dave, have been best friends since college.
Yeah.
And that period of time really sticks with me even to this day, because I remember, you and I would, as we could do it, we would email back and forth, just what was going on, and I still have all those emails saved.
Yeah.
That, you telling me about the things that we were dealing with, lack of sleep, some of the emotions you were going through, and and part of me just wanted to be there. If nothing more, just to stand there and experience it with you, and not being able to do that really bugged me. But I cherish those emails and that communication even to this day. I still hold on to those.
Did I send you emails from the invasion of Iraq?
You did.
When they put Qualcomm in our vehicles,
Yeah,
and
I have one.
I figured out how to send emails out. I couldn't receive emails,
Yeah.
but I broke the code on how to send emails out. So I would send emails to Kevin, my dad, my wife, and just let them know, hey, I'm okay, everything's fine. This is where I'm at, without giving any operational
you have
details.
little odd little things that it allowed you to look at a map and go, okay, that's where he's at.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, but no, the blog was kind of therapeutic too, because I could capture my feelings and all that. But when they told me to shut it down, I was pissed. I remember being in fact, my buddy and I over there, we actually wrote like a fake letter that I think we shared on the blog, where we redacted everything. So it's like this giant letter with like 5 or 6 paragraphs.
Yeah.
But we'd black out everything except for we are doing great. The Iraqi forces are excelling.
How did you feel about that tactic of training the Iraqis up to lead themselves, to take over the nation building aspect of it? How did you feel about that?
Well, initially I was pissed.
Yeah.
Like, we called it the Special Forces backdoor draft, because we were like, this is what Special Forces units do.
Right.
They're the ones that go out and train indigenous forces.
Sure.
And so that's how we were pissed. But the guy that was in command of CMAT, which was I can't remember what CMAT stand for, Coalition Military Advisory Training Team or something like that.
Was this when Petraeus was?
No, Schwitters.
Schwitters. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and Schwitters was my brigade commander when I was first lieutenant at Fort Jackson. I was his adjutant.
He was the post commander when I was there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's how I know you knew him.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was my brigade commander. I was his adjutant,
Okay.
and he was in command of CMAT. I didn't know it at the time.
Yeah.
I showed up over there for a briefing, and I'm sitting in the front row, and all of a sudden he walks in, and he looks at me as he's walking. He goes, "What are you doing here, Moats?" And I'm like, "I don't know. What am I doing here?"
Yeah.
But to be fair, what he told us in that 30 minutes is what framed my mind to what I was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like he said, you need to live with the Iraqis. You need to eat, breathe, shoot, shit. All that stuff. You need to do that with the Iraqis. Like he said, this is my commander's intent.
Yeah.
All right. And then I took that, and this is how we were going to work with this regiment. And it was ultimately, I think we did a lot of good. We did a lot of good.
I'm
And I
talking-
got a lot of stories to get.
I'm
to
talking
that
more
point.
on a broader spectrum of like nation building of
No, I'm
you know,
not in the
from a war. You're not in the military anymore.
no. But
Right.
I wasn't in the nation building part. I was in the military building part. Okay, we were trying to train the Iraqi
Well,
army.
you don't have nations without a military.
Right.
But
No.
you also have a story about what happened in the transition when you were leaving.
Remind me.
About the guys coming in not having the same.
That happened. No, go ahead. That was OF1. That was when the third brigade of 2ID came into Mosul.
Oh, really? I thought. Okay, I'm
they-
getting confused.
like,
I thought it was your mid experience.
we're walking around Mosul with soft caps, weapons
Yeah,
slung,
yeah.
no body
Okay.
armor. These guys coming in, they got their weapons at the ready on the fob. They're walking around with their weapons on the ready, helmets, body armor. And we're like, what the hell? And these guys opened up. They created a fight because they missed the fight, so they wanted to fight, so they created a fight.
Okay.
But that's a different story.
Yeah.
And 3-2, hate those guys. I fought those guys at the NTC when I was at Fort Jackson. I went out to the NTC for a rotation. And I was with the OP4, and we kicked their shit. But anyway, no, I mean, training that record. I mean, there was something else about when I was at the 101st. General Petraeus was commander, and he wanted every company commander to have in his talk assigned
division commander.
He was division commander 101st at that time. This was back in 2003.
Right.
You had to have something in your talk that said, "What have I done for the Iraqi people today?" And so the first year over there, my first tour over there, we were going out doing civic projects and all that, hiring Iraqi laborers and all that. So every day, that was our focus. What are we doing for the Iraqi people?
Yeah.
Right. And that's why northern Iraq was a success initially until the 101st left. But I took that same philosophy when I was there. Like, okay, so I'm here, I'm training the Iraqi army, but what am I doing for the Iraqi people today? And that's when we started to find projects to do.
Well, so how many tours in Iraq you did?
1 in Afghanistan, 3 in Iraq.
So by the time your third tour came around, what year was that?
This is 2000. This is the one we're talking about now, 2005.
That's your third tour?
Yep.
Okay. So what did I do for the Iraqi people today? Was that something that was still in existence, or by that time it just kind of fell apart?
Well, Petraeus was the commander of Minsticky at the time, multinational
whatever.
transition command Iraq, whatever, something like that. But I still remembered what he had said. What are you doing for the Iraqi people today? And so it wasn't part of my mandate, but I'm like, what better way to gain trust of the Iraqi army than to do things for the people that are in this area?
I mean, even from a purely survival mode, that's a smart way to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And so one of the things, so we also had a so we have a truck regiment, right? We're trying to build a truck regiment in a combat zone.
Yeah.
How do you train convoy operations in a combat zone?
Yeah, just
right?
do it.
Because the base is only the base that we're on is only so big.
Yeah, you can't
do
get
convoys,
hours
right?
of driving
And so I did a map recon, and I realized that about 10 miles away there's an old airfield, like runways with tarmacs on the side and all that. And so I'm like, this might be it's only 10 miles away. This might be a good way to train convoy operations. We can get them up to speed, for 2 miles at a time. We can have them do battle drills. And so we did a recon. And during the recon, we realized, all right, there's an Iraqi village like right off of this thing, maybe a click away, but there's a trail that kind of runs off the runway. And while we're doing the recon, we can see like civilian traffic taking this shortcut across the runway to get to the village. And so, I'd gone out there with the security company. We had a security company, basically an MP company, Iraqi MPs. So we went out there with a security company. So while we're doing the recon, we had them like do box closure. They like block the entrances and all that. But while I was out there, I had the Iraqi ops. I was the advisor for the Iraqi S3, the regimental S3, and also for the security company commander. And so those two guys and me, we went out to the village because we were going to tell the village, hey, look, we're going to be doing training out here. And what we're going to do is we're going to block access to this, and we will make sure that that's what's going on. We're not trying to be a threat to you or anything like that. We're going to be just doing training. And at this point in time, that area was generally safe, right? Because this is a Shia area. My regiment was 99% Shia.
Oh, okay.
The folks that were in my unit were from the area, right? Yeah. So, but we go into this village, And while we're in the village, telling the sheikh, here's what we're going to be doing. I want you to understand, when we're out here, we're going to block this road, and you need to let everybody know, don't try and come onto the airfield while we're out here. And while we're in there, the villager or the sheikh said something about, hey, we have no water. And there's these canals that run across, that part of Iraq, coming right off the Tigris River. And the pumping stations have been shut down, so there's no water in the canals because the pumping stations weren't pumping in water. And this guy's like, I need water. He's like, I've had 3 young children die in the last 3 months because of the water situation. Yeah. So like, okay, well, I can't turn the water on. I can look into it, but I can't turn the water on. But this thing hit me that we had 12 water buffaloes that were part of the Iraqi regiment. Right? What better way to train them than to give them a mission, say you're going to take water to these villages. Great. Right? And so now we're doing like some humanitarian support. Yeah. And the Iraqi soldiers are excited about it.
Winning hearts and minds.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the big phrase. Right?
But we're making their convoy commanders plan. We're making
it's a realistic.
We're making the security company plan to do box closure of the airfield. And so now, in addition to doing box closure of the airfield, now they're going to do box closure of the Iraqi village. Like we're going to shut down entry and exit, any sort of entry access points into and out of the village while we're conducting these water deliveries. And so we would deliver, you're talking 12 500-gallon water buffaloes. So we would do that. And like every third day, we'd show up at this village and deliver this water. All the people are coming out. And you've seen the pictures. People come out with all sorts of different pails, containers to get water from us. And as the Americans, I told our guys, hey, let's put an Iraqi face on this from the get-go. And so from first mission to the last mission, we'd go in there, and then we were just the radios. That's all we were. We need medevac, we need gunship support, that's it. But we stayed like on the periphery of the village and let the Iraqi soldiers do all of that. And then over the course of that, I think we ended up building a school. I contacted the Corps of Engineers and said, hey, I need a plan, like a construction plan. Yeah. And they gave me some models, and then I put it out for bidding. And we take the bids, and then we actually built a school. And then we built 2 water purification stations. This ended up going to a second village as well. There's another village that was nearby, like on the other side.
I also remember the playground.
Yeah. So but this is what we did this, and this was this was like June, July through like August, September that we were doing this. So during the hottest months of Iraq, and then eventually, I also talked to the Corps of Engineers, say, hey, I need you guys to get these pumping stations up and running. Yeah. And so I knew that was going to take some time, but they did. They got the Corps of Engineers figured out who the people are that are running these pumping stations. They got water going into the canals again, which is why we had the water purification stations built. You're right. But I don't want to sound like I'm bragging.
No, but that's something to be proud of for sure.
But my interpreters that I had with me then have told me, like, even as short as 2 years ago over the phone, they've told me I am famous in that part of Iraq. Nice. And I'm like, the first time he said that, I was like, what do you mean I'm famous? Like, is there a warrant out for me? Is there a bounty on my head? Yeah, is there a bounty on my head? He's like, no, people know your name. They have no idea what you look like, but they know your name. Wow. Because of what you did over there. And on top of that, the Iraqi regiment that we had is actually considered, and again, my interpreters told me this, the Iraqi regiment that we formed and developed is considered an elite regiment in the Iraqi army. Wow. Because one of the things we did, and there's a story, it's actually part of my PTS story, but there's a story of an incident where at that point the Iraqi army guys in our regiment they weren't wearing their body armor, they weren't wearing their helmets, they weren't wearing their uniforms. Yeah. They were just going out, inshallah. And after this incident, I went to brigade commander or the regimental commander, and I told him, like, look, this guy didn't have to die. He wasn't wearing his body armor. He wasn't wearing his helmet. Had he been wearing them, he probably still would have lost his arm, but he could still be alive. Yeah. Because the thing that killed him was where his body armor was. That's what killed him. Losing his arm isn't what killed him. Is the other part. And he started giving me this whole talk about inshallah. Right. What is that? If inshallah, it's God's Arabic for if God wills. God wills. Right. Yeah. And that the Iraqi soldiers had this inshallah attitude. Like it's 120 degrees out. Yeah. They want to be comfortable if they live or die, it's God's will, inshallah. So they're not going to wear their stuff. They're going to be as comfortable as they can in the moment because of inshallah.
Yeah.
All right, and this is where I used Islam against them.
Yeah.
I went in, I took the body armor and the helmet from the dead soldier, and I threw it on the regimental commander's desk, and I said, "This is what you need to tell your soldiers. Tell your soldiers that Allah has provided this for them.
Right.
Right? Allah has given them this protection. Allah has given them the helmets to protect them, has given them the uniforms to wear, has given them the body armor. Tell them that."
Yeah.
And he looked at me like, "It's fucking genius."
Yeah.
And no shit, that day he had a regimental formation, and he did the exact same thing that I did. He took the body armor and helmet from the dead Iraqi soldier, and he threw it down on the ground in front of the Iraqi soldiers, and he said, and this wasn't, I heard it through interpretation, but he told them, Allah has provided us this stuff. Wear it.
Yeah.
And from then on, our Iraqi soldiers were always full uniform, because we explained to them the reason you have your sleeves down is protect you from flash burns.
Right.
The reason you wear gloves is it's protect your skin from flash burns. The reason you're wearing your body armor is protect you from shrapnel and bullets. The reason you wear your helmet is protect you from bullets. Wear this stuff. And that's exactly what he did. He did that, and from then on, our Iraqi soldiers were 100% in uniform all the time.
Yeah.
Like, that was the thing that clicked.
How many guys that were in your position just didn't give a damn? That they were
I think most of them, all they cared about was getting home.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where, again, I took General Schwitters's commander's intent. I'm like, okay, I know exactly but I knew this man, right? But I know exactly what he wants. I know exactly what he expects, and I'm not going to let him down. And so when he said, "You're living with the Iraqi soldiers, you're eating with the Iraqi officer, you're doing all of this," I'm like, that's exactly what we're doing.
Well, that's a good point. Why would you think, I'm not going to let this man down? What was it about him that you told yourself, I'm not going to let this man down?
I had worked with him before. So this is a guy...
Well, what set him apart from any other guy you might report to?
To me, this was like the ultimate leader in the military. This is a guy that... He I think... I'm trying to remember correctly, but I believe he was actually in Delta Force.
He was one of the originals.
At one of the originals.
Yeah.
He was a sergeant first class. He was at Desert One in Iran. Yeah. And sometime after, or sometime between Desert One and a couple months after, he was direct appointment to captain.
Yeah.
All right. This is a guy, so as a captain, infantry officer, he goes to infantry basic and advanced course back to back.
Yeah.
He goes to Germany into a line unit, infantry division, a line unit. I think he started off with I only know this because I've seen his ORB, his officer record brief.
Wasn't he involved with the Achille Laurel?
I don't know if I can say, but anyway, so he
allegedly,
there's things I can't say, but he did 6 months as a motor officer, and then he spent the next 4 years in command of a line unit in Germany,
up to speed,
right?
Yeah,
and then from there he went directly to command of a troop in Delta Force. So then from there he went into command of a squadron at Delta, and this guy's off. His time as an officer, from the time he started as an officer till the time I met him, he'd probably spent 90% of his time in command, and most of that in Delta Force. Yeah. So this was this was a guy that, as a brigade commander in a basic training, environment, my office would be 20 yards away from his office in our battalion or brigade headquarters, and he would call me just as if you and I are talking to each other. He'd just say, "Lieutenant Modes." I wouldn't hear him, but the secretary would. She'd get up and she'd run and get him, or run and get me and get me in there. Yeah. But he's a guy, he never raised his voice. Even we had the what we called the Easter incident at basic training, where in one over Easter weekend there was 4 sexual assaults of drill sergeants on soldiers in training. So I remember that. We called it the Easter incident. But when he bring those drill sergeants in, never raised his voice. I mean, the way he did things.
He's absolutely ruthless.
I mean, no, he's just very cool. He's very, matter of fact. But he didn't get angry, or if he was angry, he didn't let them know he was angry. But I learned a lot from that. I learned a lot about yelling from watching him not yelling. That's how I I learned something about leadership from him. Like, you can be more impactful just telling somebody how disappointed you are versus, getting mad and upset and yelling at somebody. And that's exactly when I looked at him, and I'm like that's the leader. I remember doing runs when I was still down in the basic training battalions. We'd be on a run, and running in formation with one of the training platoons. And I'm just running alongside, and the next thing you know, I turn, dude, there he's right here.
Yeah.
He's like one of those guys. He just shows up.
He did that as post commander too.
Yeah. But I mean, to me, he was so I'm a first lieutenant when I know him, and then I'm a captain / major later. But to me, he was the quintessential Army leader. Like, to me, in my mind, he was like the David Hackworth. He was like, this is a no nonsense. This guy's going to get it done. I remember he did an officer professional development session for our brigade, and he brought in like the surgeon that was the surgeon in Mogadishu during the fight in Mogadishu with the Delta Force and the Rangers and all that.
He was probably there too.
And this guy was throwing up slides, like full color picture slides of some of the wounds, because this was the OPD was about field expediency first aid. Yeah. Right, but he was using no kidding examples, and the wounds that he was showing on the screen when Black Hawk Down came out. 5 years later, and I'm looking at the wounds, I'm like, holy crap. Yeah. Watching the things that happened in the movie, I'm like, holy crap, I saw the real picture of that. Yeah. I mean, it was just this guy. He had this way of, I don't know how he was when he was post commander, but when he was my commander, both times, he had this way of impacting me and leading me to get me to do things that I wouldn't have thought of. But he put I'm very much a commander's intent kind of guy. And I think that was the thing that got me through the Army. It's like, if I know commander's intent, then I'm going to execute commander's intent. That's so important.
We talked about this before when we talked about leadership, how important commander's intent is when you're starting out. I mean, even as the leader of your family, a leader of your household, you're the head of the household. If your wife doesn't understand where you want to be in the future and where you're trying to, it's all for shit. And if you're, like for me, like a company officer in the fire department, if my guys don't know, like I have the most experience out of anybody in the crew. And if I don't tell them, this is why I'm training you the way I'm training you, because one day we're going to do this, and this is why I want you to perform this way in this situation. And this is what your intent for why we're doing this training. If you don't pass that along, everything you say, it's going to go one ear out the other. Yep. If you can get your intent across of, I care about you, and I'm telling you this because I love you, and I want you to live, and I want you to succeed in life, people will. That's how you get loyalty, and which you have loyalty towards Swears. And
intense loyalty.
Yeah,
like that's the guy I modeled how I would act as a commander. I remember even later in my career, when a soldier or a cadet would get in trouble, and after it was all said and done, they would come back up to me at some point and they would say, "Sir, I wish you had just yelled at me, because what you did was actually way more painful for me." Just expressing your disappointment. Yeah, they said that hurt and that cut so deep that I would have preferred you just yelled at me.
Yeah, I would definitely say that, in my time doing basic training, I would, obviously you have the first few weeks where it's all screaming and chaos, and that chaos is for a reason. It's stress inoculation. You're trying to get them to perform under stress. When you get towards the end, when they're getting ready to graduate, walking in there, looking every one of those men in the eyes and saying, you men let me down today. You let me down. You need to sit here and think about this. Here's what happened. Here's what didn't happen. You failed. You let me down.
It's a great leadership technique.
And then you just walk out. And then as soon as you cross the threshold, you hear them back and forth. They're figuring it out.
Yeah, they start self-policing.
They self-police, right. And then the next time you go out, you say, hey, today's a new day, man. Yep. Let's take what, lessons learned from the past. Let's move it forward. And that's a great way. I'm not calling myself a great leader. I don't know. But I learned from Hackworth, reading those books of great men who came before me, of I'm your dad and I love you all. It's going to be tough love sometimes, but for the most part, it's I care about you and I want us all to succeed as a team. So I think that's kind of what you're saying is he had that same paternal instinct towards all his people.
I thought he was probably between him and Petraeus. I think those are the two most influential generals in my career.
Yeah, Petraeus really got a raw deal, didn't he?
He created himself, though.
Do you think Petraeus would have been a good president?
Yeah, I do.
Do you think he created it, or did the CIA create it?
No.
With the
I think
honeypot operation?
he did it to himself.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think it was a honeypot.
But I don't think so. I think he. I mean,
Little
if you're going to do an episode on conspiracy theories, that'd be a good one to explore. But I don't think so. I think he.
You think he got his ego?
He's
got
a
the best of
man.
him?
He's a man.
Yeah.
He's a human.
I think it was the Kay Summersby equivalent to Dwight Eisenhower, except that today's modern technology of instant
Exposed.
information.
Yep.
So the old
He couldn't get by
camp
it.
follower.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you had camp followers.
Yeah.
You know,
But I think he was a super brilliant man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
he came up with
I don't disagree with that one.
the like how to counter insurgency.
But every man has his flaws.
For sure.
But
man.
that's a tough flaw to overcome.
It really is. It really, really is.
So.
Well, it worked for Trump.
Yeah, you're right.
Right?
You're right. But Trump has his own. His is a different
We'll see
charisma.
when some
His leadership style is probably not one that I would want to emulate.
No.
But Petraeus's
But he had a similar
leadership style.
situation.
What about? Do you remember General Shinseki?
Mm-hmm.
What was your opinion on him?
I actually liked him as a leader. The only thing I disagreed with, I really disagreed with his whole concept with the beret.
Yeah.
Right. And I was just
that was a boomer move.
Coincidentally, I happened to be in the very first brigade in the U.S. Army to transition to the Black Beret, and that's because I was in 1st Brigade, 2nd Infantry Division in Korea. And so we were the first on the day they said, "This is what you're doing before our day starts for everybody else's."
His explanation.
Yeah, but
was,
see, I had a weird thing because I was part of 1st COSCOM, where everybody wore the maroon beret,
Right.
even if you were a leg.
Right.
It was just an odd thing.
Yeah.
But that's what we did.
And I remember when the Rangers switched to the tan beret, and I saw it first time. I was like, "What the hell is that guy wearing? A tan
No, I
beret?
mean,
Who was that?"
but I got where he was going.
Yeah,
like,
we're all
I got
expeditionary. They were building the brigade combat team concept.
Well, he's trying to create a sense of elitism.
Sure.
Like we're as an army, we're better than everybody else.
Yeah.
So he's trying to create that. So I got that. I just wish that the color hadn't been black.
No. Yeah.
Like,
it should not have
pick a
been.
different color. The Rangers already own black. Let them
Who was
keep
the
black.
ones that wore those dark brown berets? Like those security. They were like a.
That's Air Force, I think.
No, it was Army unit. They wore like a dark brown.
Is that the new?
They're gone now.
I think it was it's basically the MIT brigades.
Yeah, the security
the training brigades.
Whatever. Yeah, but they're gone now. But,
Yeah.
I remember those guys were gay.
No, but I remember growing up and the red beret or maroon beret, whatever you call it, that color. Mm-hmm. That was the thing at Fort Campbell. Even like everybody at Fort Campbell wore that in the 70s.
But the thing was at the time a beret was an elite thing by itself, like you just said, and let's be real. I mean, you can't make the entire military elite.
So it kind of watered it down a little bit.
It did.
It definitely did. Man, we're almost 2 hours in, guys. What do we have anything else to talk about?
I can go more, but I need a break.
Let's take a break. Let's take a pee break, Kevin, to go back to our
guys
earlier. We're old, man. We have.
I guess go do your thing.
All right, hitting pause. We'll see you in a second. All right, we're back, folks, and we just had like a little side conversation in between, and we're going to talk about Dave's the end of your 3rd deployment, going into your 4th, and kind of finish up that part of your life. And I think post-deployment, post-military career is a whole other show.
Yeah, it is.
And so I think we'll do that. What do you think, Kevin?
Yeah, that'll work.
And we like Dave. We'll keep him around. He can come back.
So I'll tell you. I think I mentioned before. I've gone through the VA's trauma recovery program.
Yeah.
And I think it's the best thing since sliced bread. It's the one thing that the VA has finally figured out after Vietnam, 20 years of Iraq and Afghanistan. They have finally figured out trauma for veterans, and I would encourage every veteran I know to go through it.
Advised to go through this program because of my fire service experience, but because I'm a veteran, I have the privilege to go. And I was like, no, I'm okay. Like because
it doesn't matter, and I'm gonna tell you right now, the folks that are working it, they don't care. They just want to make you better.
Yeah.
All right, and they will do what it. I will say it's a little bit frustrating because like I wanted to get started.
Yeah.
But what they do, like the first 6 weeks, I go once a week for like 6 weeks. And the first 6 weeks, they spend all their time on educating you what PTSD is, and they tell you what they're going to do, and they just keep doing it over and over, so that when it's finally time for you to do it, it's not a surprise to you, right? But I couldn't wait. I mean, I got to a point I couldn't wait to tell my story, you know, but they wouldn't let me. They're like, no, we're not there yet. you need like, we're gonna get there, but we want to make sure that. I mean, they actually broke the code on the education of it before they actually get you to breaking down, right?
I guess we could save this for another episode, but let's pause this. We'll talk about it another time.
So you want me to save that for another episode?
It's.
I mean, I'm gonna tell you this. It's a great story.
Okay, well, tune in next time, folks. Good cliffhanger.
Yeah,
but I want to go chronological because, so you did this MIT team deployment, and during this time, obviously, it's a very peculiar thing for a soldier to do. It's usually a special forces mission, going into a host nation or even a hostile country and getting indigenous forces to work with you to accomplish a mission, whatever that mission is. When you left, did you leave with a sense of accomplishment of saying, I accomplished my mission?
I did. I mean, when I think when we left that unit in Iraq, I think we felt like we had made a difference. We really did. We felt like we'd made a difference. Did we make a difference enough that's going to win the war? I don't know. But we felt like...
I mean, Iraq's pretty okay right now.
Yeah, but we felt like we made a difference in what we did for that year.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's why I tell people, like, it was the best experience I've had in the Army. It was also the worst experience I've had in the Army.
Yeah.
But it was the worst experience because of the combat.
Okay.
It was the best experience because of how rewarding it felt at the end.
So
up until then, I would have told you that company command was the best experience in the Army.
Yeah.
And company command it's a wonderful experience, but it's different.
Yeah.
You know, but the levels of responsibility and all that other stuff. But
so let's talk about the history of the time frame that you were in Iraq. This was when you had Iranian intelligence units operating in Iraq with the emergence of the explosively formed projectile.
That's correct. And we had other MIT teams that were there with us got hit with those. In fact, our medic was on a mission where, for whatever reason, they asked for our medic to go with them, even though they had their own medic. And they went on a mission. One of their vehicles was hit. 5 guys in the vehicle, including their medic, who was a corpsman, so Navy.
Yeah.
And their vehicle got hit, and 5 guys in the vehicle, all 5 were wounded. Only one of which was able to stay in country. 2 of them had amputations, and our medic was the guy that was there. You know, even the corpsman that was hit was trying. He had lost a leg, and he was trying to treat other guys.
Oh my gosh!
You know,
corpsmen are amazing.
But this comes back to that whole thing we were talking earlier about Medal of Honor type stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like this guy's lost a leg, and he's trying to save the lives of other guys.
Yeah,
but our medic was the guy that ended up like doing all the tourniquets and getting everything squared away. But
yeah, we had a guy. One of the men I trained was killed by an EFP, and people have no idea the involvement of the Iranian intelligence. What are they called? They have a special name.
Well, I mean, it's Republican Guard.
The
Iranian Republican Guard type thing. But it was, I mean,
of those devices were manufactured in Iran and smuggled into Iraq. And then you had not ISIS, not ISIL, not Islamic State of Iraq, whatever. But it was
depends on where you were in the country.
Yeah,
like so where we were in 2005, we were in the southeastern part. Primarily, our missions were in the southeastern part of Iraq, which was very heavy Iranian influence. But when we'd run missions out to like Fallujah, Ramadi, now we're dealing with the ISIS type,
Syrian,
Al Qaeda,
right.
And then we did some missions up in the north, but very few. Most of our missions were in the
area.
south.
Well,
not the Kurdish area.
The
up the
Kurdish
Mosul.
area was like super chill.
Yeah.
Right? They had like
Well,
carnivals.
the Kurds had everything under control.
They're locked down.
Yeah, they were. But running up to like Mosul, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a different enemy.
Mm-hmm.
If we ran missions to like south, I don't want to say southwest. If you go south and southwest of Baghdad,
Because
in
Iraq
that
comes
area,
to a
where,
point, right?
where like,
down at the
where like
center.
Al Najaf is and all
Yes.
that. So that's where you had Jaysh al-Mahdi. So those were the Shia that were extremist. What was that guy's name? But they were loyal to some cleric there in Iraq who was trying to get the Shia to fight against the Americans,
Right.
which they did in 2004. So I mean, there was so much going on. It was so complex, and
Right.
who are the bad guys?
Right.
I mean, we couldn't just shoot at anybody. I mean, it was a weird. It was
Some
just
people say we were the bad guys.
yeah, well, but it was just a weird thing. I mean, when you're running missions 5-6 times a week, which is what we were doing.
Yeah, you're just trying to survive and do your job, man.
Yeah, but you get this sense of what's going on and what's safe and what's not safe.
Yeah,
Like,
okay.
and because we were isolated, we didn't have access to the standard intelligence reports and all that.
No? You had Cybernet?
We had nothing. We didn't have Cybernet. We had internet, but we didn't have Cybernet.
Oh.
And so we would go to, like, I would, as the ops officer, I would go to a contractor, a defense contractor,
Yeah.
like the security, the guys that provide personal security services and all that.
Yeah.
I can't remember what they were called, but I would go to their website and I'd pull the intel from their website.
It could have been Blackwater. Or,
Yeah, it was probably something like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't Blackwater, but it was
Triple
another.
Canopy.
It was another company that was like that.
Yeah.
It was actually a British company,
Oh, okay.
and but because it was open source, I could get to it.
Yeah.
But we could look from on their webpage, and we could see where the hotspots were on MSR1, the IED.
Yeah.
Because there's this unique thing that we had going on where at one point we got outfitted with these devices on our
jammers?
Humvees, that would scramble signals, but these same devices would also scramble the signals that the Iraqis were using to
Because they were
communicate.
using they were using
Just regular Motorola's and
yeah.
and so we
they're
could
using shortwave.
yeah,
I
so
guess,
we couldn't turn these things on for our entire mission, but
Oh.
there would be like hotspots based off the intel that I was able to get. We could say, okay, from here to here on MSR1 is hot, so when we're in there, we're turning our shit on,
Yeah.
so that to give us the best chance of survival.
Yeah.
And these things were located in the back of our Humvees. You'd have to go open up the blast door, reach back behind it, to turn them on.
Yeah.
Well, I've already told you, our crewing was not in such a way that we could do that. Like
had to
my
go
gunner,
through
my
an
gunner,
interpreter to
like
the
my,
officer
yeah,
to
no,
the-
but so I even then we'd have American gunners, but I'd have to have an American gunner drop down and drop in there to flip these things on. Well, now I don't have anybody on the gun,
Right.
So we taught our interpreters how to do it. We just said, hey, whenever we tell you to flip the switch, you need to go flip. We went. They were called
That's
they were
sketchy,
called
dude.
warlocks, is
Yeah,
what
the
these
warlock
devices
system,
were.
yeah.
But we tell the interpreter like, hey, whenever we tell you, we need you to go back there and flip the switch, and we teach them like this is the switch you need to flip.
Yeah.
You open this blast door, reach back there, flip the switch on, and tell us you see the green light and all that other stuff, and now we know we're on. And when we're done, we'd have them turn it off.
Yeah, that was actually my mission in Fort Jackson. I trained naval
Yeah.
signal personnel
On warlocks.
on warlock. Well, we trained them how to like. Here's how you shoot. Here's how you do
Yeah.
first aid. Here's how you call in a 9-lane medevac.
Yeah.
You know,
but we never told we
they
never told our
operated
interpreter
those.
what it was.
Yeah.
But he confided into me much later. He's like, I thought that's what it was.
Yeah.
Like he's like every time we got to a certain point, you'd have me flip the switch, and then after we got to a certain point, you'd have me turn it off. He's like, I bet he figured it out. He was a
Yeah,
smart guy.
they're not
He figured it out.
stupid.
But
Yeah.
but it was so here's the other thing that we did. Like we trained our interpreters on everything.
Okay.
Like we trained our interpreters how to use our radios. We trained our interpreters how to drive our vehicles. We trained them how to use our crew serve weapons.
Probably smart.
Because
Yeah.
what if we hit an IED, right? We're in a kill zone, and we're all incapacitated, but the one person that's not incapacitated is our interpreter.
Were
So-
your interpreters all Iraqi, or
They
did
were.
you have?
Oh,
African?
we had one interpreter that was from Detroit,
Okay.
but his dialect was such that we didn't want to take him on missions because
We
it
actually
was off.
I've trained some interpreters as well, but most of them are from like Islamic speaking countries
But-
in Africa.
But
and
90% of our interpreters are from the local area.
Okay.
All right. But like I said, we teach them how to drive. So like our thought process, or at least my thought process was, if
They were called 0911s or
if I get incapacitated, I want my interpreter to do one of two things.
Yeah.
He either needs to get down and drive our vehicle out of kill zone, or he needs to get up on a cruise serve weapon and start shooting.
Yeah. Okay.
And our interpreters were very much like, they want to survive, they want to live.
Yeah.
And so we actually armed our interpreters,
because they're like traitors. They're number one target.
Yeah, but
right?
we armed our interpreters. We trained them how to use AK-47s. We trained them how to use our M4s. We trained them how to use our M240 Bravos, our 50 cals. But we had them carrying AKs. We had our interpreters. Our interpreters dressed exactly like Iraqi army, and they're carrying AKs. So you could not look at an interpreter and say, "Oh, that's an interpreter."
So your interpreters could have been either
they were contract
Department of Defense contractors.
No, these were part of some sort of international contract that was set up in Iraq for interpreters.
Probably
Didn't you
Dick
help
Cheney's
bring
company.
one or two interpreters here to the States?
We brought several of our interpreters. In fact, my favorite interpreter is in the States. He lives down in Arizona.
Yeah.
Shortly after we left Iraq in 2005, him and his wife and his newborn son were walking from their house to their car, and an assassin from Jaish al-Mahdi walked up to him and shot him 7 times and shot her 7 times.
Damn it.
She was carrying a baby. All of her wounds were in her arms and legs.
Wow.
All his wounds, he took 5 to the chest and 2 to the head.
Holy.
But her wounds were all in the arms and legs, and the baby wasn't hit at all. All right, but he survived. He lost an eye, but he actually survived.
He's in Arizona right now?
Yeah, he lived.
How much is a plane ticket from Arizona to St. Louis?
He eventually made it to Arizona, and he worked as a security guard at a hospital there.
Yeah.
But after about 3 or 4 years, he decided he wanted to get back to Iraq, and so he actually became an interpreter. He became an interpreter and was assigned to Special Forces teams.
Wow.
And was supporting Special Forces operations out of Jordan into Syria.
Holy cow.
He shared this with me, so I consider it open source.
Sure.
But he did that for 3 years. Now he's back in Iraq again. He's back in Arizona again. He's got 2 teenage boys.
Dude.
I mean, he's a stud, isn't he? We called him T. You know, he was
Let's
our
get
guy.
him to St. Louis.
Did his
man.
wife make it?
Yeah, his wife survived. She's
Okay.
there too. But
That's
yeah,
amazing.
How much is a plane ticket from Arizona to
But
here?
think of the loyalty.
Yeah.
but he's the one that called me up just like a year or two ago and said, "Hey, you know, we talked for like an hour, and he was telling me how our motor regiment's considered an elite regiment in the Iraqi army."
Love to get him on the show.
because they, and you know why they're considered elite? Because they do things just like American soldiers.
Right.
They wear their full uniform the way they're supposed to. They act like us, trigger discipline.
Yeah.
I mean, they got it.
That's the thing about that people really fail to grasp is the how far above and beyond. Like when people say, "Oh, the U.S. military is the greatest to ever walk the face of the earth,"
We are.
they have no idea how far we are ahead of everybody else.
But I also think of the other side when it comes to, I mean, the story of the day is immigration.
Yeah.
And you have this gentleman who was an interpreter for Dave, his units, and
Yeah.
several others,
Well,
immigrated to the United States.
Our army, our military
And
is
it's
so
like
great.
He's a U.S. citizen now.
Right, that's what I mean.
We're so great
That is what we're
because of
looking for.
immigrants.
And he's gone back to be an interpreter for our special forces units.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a guy that's contributed to our country.
Yeah. So I
That-
come
that's
from
the
immigrants.
ideal.
My family's here in the United States because of immigrants. Dave, yours are immigrants. Kevin, yours are immigrants.
I can go back.
And we're not anti-immigration, but you need to be loyal to the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to join the team.
100%.
Join the team, and we love you forever. It's just like the weird thing that the media twists that we're anti-immigration or blah blah blah. No. You're getting it twisted. That's all propaganda. Join the team, man. This is the best team. We're the A team. We're the best. And the United States military, the individual soldier, is the greatest to ever walk on the face of this earth. Period. Point blank. End of conversation.
Warts and all.
Everything.
Yep.
Yes. And policy might be flawed.
Yep.
The reason we go to war might be wrong.
Right.
But there is no soldier ever, and I kind of, Marine, soldier, whatever.
What was it Kevin said? To my country, right or wrong, may she always be right.
Yeah.
But right or wrong.
But right or
to
wrong.
my country.
Exactly.
And
100% amen.
I think that the leadership lessons that you've learned, Dave, and that you brought to our podcast, I really appreciate that. General Schwitters, as an enlisted man, I always looked at him like, what's this guy's problem, dude? There's something off.
There's nothing wrong with him.
But,
you probably didn't get the opportunity to have that interaction with him. I think
Definitely not.
I think if you'd had the interaction with him,
I was a staff sergeant.
Yeah, but I mean, had you been like face to face with him and had a conversation, I think you would have been.
I will tell you this:
you would have been impressed.
The dude has a magnetic personality where you're like, there's something different about this guy, and
but it's not an over the top personality.
No way, no,
it's very subdued.
Yeah, he is not flashy. He's not a Patton guy. He is he's not a Hackworth guy.
Nope.
How about if we take that out of the military into our civilian work life?
Yeah. Okay.
Is there anybody that you work with now?
I have never met a leader in the civilian sector that comes even close to some of the military leaders I've met.
Okay. Valid.
Never. I've never met it.
Let me think.
There's no civilian leader I've worked for that I would say I would die for you.
Okay, but have you come across any that civilian leaders with military experience that at least you would say, I support you?
Unfortunately, in my experience, the civilian leaders that I've come across that had military experience were not career military.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so it's a different vibe. Like they did their time and then they got out.
Well,
I've never run across I haven't yet run across
officer or enlisted.
It doesn't matter. I've yet to run across a civilian. Well, no, I take that back. There was. I don't know how to say this.
You don't have to say names.
I had a boss who was the president of our organization, who was a enlisted leader, career. Not what I would consider one of the best leaders I've had.
Okay. Yeah.
For what it's worth.
I can identify two folks in my entire civilian career that I would do anything for. Not to the point of, from the military perspective, I'm going to give up my life. But two folks that I would follow for just about anything. I can name two. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, Kevin, you're my boss in the civilian world, and I feel incredibly blessed to be in the situation I am in, because Kevin and I, we were like instant partners.
Yeah.
And he's the officer, I'm the sergeant major type of role, and we kind of fill those roles, and we understand that.
Good example was Friday.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When you and someone else was coming to me about, what do you think we should do? And I'm like, I don't know. You and that other manager need to handle it.
Yeah. So I knew what to do, but I kind of wanted to defer to you because out of respect, that's your area of responsibility. So I'm like, hey, what do you want to do? Whatever you want, man. Cool. I'm going to do what I feel is right. And I did what I felt was right. And but I've had the burden of leadership, of command in life and death situations where guys have depended on me and where they have unquestionably followed my orders into danger, where their lives were in danger. And the sense of the weight that you carry with that is incredible. It's like nothing I've ever felt before in my life. And it makes me emotional thinking about it. And I kind of feel like, man, I can't even describe it. Words can't describe it, right?
Let me take it a step further. So we're sitting here. All three of us are veterans.
Yeah.
been exposed to many military leaders in which we say we would do anything for. And for me, on the civilian side, I can only identify 2 out of 30 years of civilian work. You can't identify anybody.
No, I don't think I can either.
I've only been in the civilian sector for 10 years, though.
So my question is, are we, when it comes to the civilian side, because I have to go this way because this is most of our audience is civilian listeners.
Right.
Are we holding our leaders to a standard that is unattainable?
I don't
much
think that's possible.
No.
I think the expectation for any leader should be held to the highest possible standard.
So how do you do that?
Keep in mind. Now, I come from a little bit different perspective because remember, my last 3 years in the Army, I was teaching leadership in ROTC. So, it's a different. I mean, I feel like I got a good handle on it, but the military model of leadership, while I think it has a lot of applications in the civilian sector, it's not a perfect fit.
No. Have you found?
I agree with that.
Have you found when you interview for a job, and they see that you were in the military and you held certain leadership roles, that they kind of just automatically assign you certain?
I don't think that interviewers understand the military.
They have no idea.
Yeah,
I've done enough interviews to know that when it comes to the military, it's just glossed over. Oh, you were in the military.
Well, you interviewed me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
but he understands.
Well, let's talk
difference.
talk about that. So you and Steve, you and our boss interviewed me, right? And there was probably a conversation that happened after that interview. And I'm sure there were things that you picked out from that interview that you were able to pass along to our COO.
Oh, easy. There's a couple things. I mean, the first thing I'm doing is I'm looking at the resume and seeing what you wrote or anybody wrote.
Yeah.
And I could tell when they're trying to use military lingo and translate it into civilian lingo. And I'm like, oh, no. They're not doing as much as you think they did.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. And I'll explain it. And then it comes down to the actual face-to-face or one-on-ones. And then you get into talking, and because I know enough, I can ask the question and for you to explain what it is you're doing. And then afterwards I can go, yeah, no, he really was just in charge of like 3 people. And this is all he did.
Yeah, but but because you have that experience, you were able to understand what the scope is. I mean, you understand what the responsibilities are within the Army.
Yes.
So, Dave, you work for...
So it's a good translation.
Yeah.
It's good to have that information so you can translate that in, because even now when I interview folks, if they have military experience, that's what I'm digging into, because I'm gonna learn what you're really like.
So do you feel like I underplayed my experience or overplayed? Or just I was able to...
No, you were spot on.
Yeah. Straightforward.
You didn't hide or exaggerate anything that you did.
Yeah.
I was able to figure that
I didn't
out.
do anything too special. It was
No,
just
I was able to figure that out.
Okay,
Are we going to finish this bottle off or what?
Definitely.
There's only a little bit. That's like an ounce and a half left.
That's one pour there. We're real close.
Yeah.
Split out a third of an ounce for each of us.
And that's one of the things that someone told to me, one of my listeners, was, you never finish a whole bottle.
Oh,
and I go, we always finish a bottle when we have a guest.
Yeah, I was going to say, last time I was here, we finished the bottle.
We're going to finish the bottle today.
I think we finished the bottle halfway through.
So, all right.
You guys talk too much.
No, one of the things that you asked me while we were on break, you wanted to know a little bit about my career. I will tell you, my third deployment, the Iraqi MIT team deployment, that was my most. I can tell you a lot of stories from that, and maybe we'll come back for we'll come back for more stories on that. It's very entertaining.
Okay.
Like very.
It's
those are some great. Kevin will tell you. Kevin knows I've got some really great stories from that.
I think some
deployment.
of the coolest, the funniest stories are like the PT. Did you ever do PT with them?
Oh, I did PT with Iraqis. and there was a point that we actually stopped doing PT with the Iraqis. One, because it frustrated us, and two, because we felt like they were looking at us sexually.
Yeah.
In our PT uniforms, we're like,
was it Thursday?
No, it didn't matter. I remember one time. I remember the last time I did a PT with them. I went on a run, and the way that I felt like I was getting looked at, I felt like a woman, and I'm like, nah, no more. Like, no, we're done here.
I worked with a couple interpreters where I was like, hey, man.
My interpreters were great. My interpreters were great. I felt no discomfort whatsoever, ever, with any of my interpreters.
Okay.
But
anyway, closing out your career.
Yeah. So my fourth deployment, I went back with the 101st. I was Brigade S4, South Baghdad, and I would consider that like my most therapeutic deployment.
Yeah.
Compared to the previous one. I think I was telling you, my brigade commander, there were some things that happened that was like, whoa, this is weird. Like I don't say never.
Give me the time frame of your last deployment.
This was like January to November of 2008.
Oh, okay. So
surge. This is during the surge.
During the surge.
Because my brigade was there for 15 months. I joined them.
Quote unquote pull out of Iraq, but we're still there. But
yeah. Well, I mean, the pull out actually was starting while I was there because we had 24 different locations within our brigade footprint. Mm-hmm. And while we were leaving out of that footprint, we transitioned 21 of those locations over to the Iraqi army.
Should a brigade have 24 footprints?
Well, you're talking about platoon-sized patrol bases.
That's insane.
I get it.
But you have to understand what the operation of the surge. The surge was get out into the populace, and so you had to have these platoon-sized patrol bases everywhere. Right. So we had 24 different locations across our. We were in the Mahmudiyya Qada.
Who has more time in country during the global war on terror than the 101st Airborne Division?
The 10th Mountain might be close.
Yeah.
Because at least initially, like the first two brigades that were in Afghanistan were I think it was 210 and 3101. Yeah. Those were and those two brigades are the two brigades that they were always at the highest in terms of the number of deployments. So
crazy, man. I mean, except the SF units, but even SF units, they're only there for, 6 months?
Not even. Three? Like 3.
3 months?
Yeah. Well, that's one thing that annoys me.
We have a friend of ours that can tell us some stories about that.
But when I hear somebody say, oh, this guy did 17 deployments, I'm like, yeah, but some of his deployments were like a month long.
Well, I told you about Sergeant Major Payne, who got the Medal of Honor. He's like, he literally was like 22 deployments and I was like, dude, he was only there for like a month.
Right.
I'm pretty sure the stripes on his sleeve were no more than what Dave had on his.
So I have 6 stripes on mine.
Oh no, this dude had like 10. But
all right. I mean, 6 is it? 6?
But he was in the Rangers.
Yeah. I have 6. So my total deployed time in Iraq and Afghanistan is 40 months.
I would say
I thought it was a stripe for every 6 months.
Right.
Okay.
I have six stripes.
The Ranger Regiment probably has more deployments than.
Yeah, but they might not have gotten the stripes.
No, I'm talking the regiment.
Oh,
the regiment.
But again, if they only deploy for, the Ranger Regiment, they don't deploy for a year.
No,
they only deploy for like 3 months.
Right.
Yeah.
The special operations forces they deploy for like 3 months and that's it.
Right.
And then they're back home, and then they go again, and then they're back home, and then they go again. They do it a lot.
3 months on, 3 months off.
Yeah, their frequency is a lot, but they're not doing the 12 to 15 month deployments that some of the line units are doing.
You got the Air Force guys be like, I deployed to Iraq.
There's like 5 or 6 months, right? Yeah. But anyway, so I was in a 3rd Brigade, 101st, Roxans. I was Brigade S4.
Yeah.
It was very therapeutic. We had of all the casualties we had from direct action, we had one KIA. We had 3 deaths, but 2 of the deaths were suicides. I think we had total 30 during the whole deployment. We had like 30 folks wounded in action. Yeah. So it was a quiet deployment.
It's crazy to say that.
I did have the opportunity during that deployment. I actually went down to Numania to my old motor regiment.
Yeah.
Like I flew down. They had no idea I was coming. I flew down. Some Americans that were on the base picked me up from the helipad.
Yeah.
Drove me over to my pod. It was the same pod, and go in the gate. And this is 2008. So this is 3 years after I've left.
Yeah.
Right. Go in the gate, And no shit, the guards reckon. I'm sitting in the back seat of a
They had a
vehicle.
parade.
I'm in the back seat of a vehicle, like
Yeah.
like a Waz, right? A Russian Jeep.
Yeah.
I'm sitting in the back seat of that. We go through, and within 30 minutes, the entire regiment is out there greeting me. I was there for like a meeting, and I never made it to the meeting because I was swarmed. Like there was general officers there, U.S. Army general officers. So like, what the hell is going on over there? And somebody finally told them, well, yeah, that was their first advisor, you know. But
Americans could learn a thing or two from
Think about that.
type of loyalty.
But I was swarmed. I mean, and I couldn't get away. But it was awesome. I was like a rock star.
Yeah.
But and when I say swarmed, I mean it's a 775 man regiment, and there's probably 200 to 300 that were out there.
Sure, that's a
The
swarm.
others might not have remembered me from 3 years.
They might have been new guys.
I know that Dave is being a little self-deprecating, but the reality is he really made a difference
Yeah.
in what he was doing and in so many ways. And, you know, when we say thank you for your service, you know, really, I mean, we really, Dave, we thank you for your service.
So
You really made a difference.
I will tell you, Matt, that Bronze Star, I fucking earned. All right?
No, I'm serious.
Yeah.
But that one deployment, I left that deployment with a Bronze Star Combat Action Badge and 2 Joint Service Achievement medals
But Dave,
from one deployment.
Remember what I said was, we either are jealous or we're just talking shit.
Yeah, I know.
Guess what? I talk shit.
But no,
There's no jealousy
I
on
would
my
say
point.
I would say
My point of view.
that year that was probably the best year I had in the Army. It was the worst year I had in the Army. It was the best year I had in the Army.
Yeah,
But
that's strange how that works, right?
Yeah, my 4th deployment though, completely therapeutic.
Yeah.
I think I was mentioned to you on the
Did
break.
you see that? Did you feel like you were seeing the fruits of your labor?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
But the 4th deployment, completely therapeutic. The only thing bad happened. I mean, I think I told you that my brigade commander was like, "Hey, you want to go on a patrol with us?" And I had no idea that's what I was going to do when I got on the helicopter with him. And next thing you know, I'm walking and
What are you going to say? No, I'm going to go to the talk.
Yeah, some Iraqi village, and I'm carrying a 9mm on a patrol with an infantry platoon.
A stupid Beretta M9
But
too, right?
Exactly.
You finally left there. You went to ROTC, commanded an ROTC battalion, but that's not where you retired from, right?
Yeah. No.
Is
so after the 101st, I went to Scott Air Force Base to Transcom.
Right.
And then I
Transcom.
did 3 years at Transcom, and then I hit this point where I wanted. This is a funny story too.
Because you didn't want to be a battalion commander.
No, I did want to be a battalion commander. Remember, because I actually had the list, and I went home, and I talked to my wife, and I was like, all right, here are the units that I want to command.
Yeah.
This is what I want to put for my list, and all of a sudden she says, so if you take command of battalion, are you gonna have to go back to Iraq or Afghanistan? I'm like, yeah, probably. She's like, are you gonna? These are the questions she's asking. Are you gonna have to like go to JRTC or NTC? And I'm like, yeah, probably. Are you gonna go on field exercises where you're gone for like 2 or 3 weeks at a time? And I'm like, yeah, probably. It's like, are we gonna get phone calls at 2:00 in the morning on a Sunday morning because some soldier of yours is drunk downtown and did something wrong? I'm like, yeah, probably. And then, but she kept asking all these questions that are very similar to that.
Yeah.
And finally, she asked, "Are you doing this for your ego?"
Ooh.
And I was like, "Oh fuck."
Yeah.
And at that point, I withdrew my name from the battalion
Good
commander.
job, Dave's
list.
wife.
And
What's your
then
wife's name?
Sarah.
Sarah.
And
Great
then,
job.
And
Good
then,
job.
and so what I did is I completely redirected from battalion command, and I said, all right, I want to do something meaningful still.
Yeah.
And SIUE ROTC was one of the spots that was open. I'm like,
Okay.
I'm
Salukis?
going to compete. No, SIUE, Cougars.
Cougars.
SIUC is the Salukis.
I used to be a fan of Cougars.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah. Cougar pride never dies.
That was my college days.
Yeah, it was. but so anyway, so I mean, I'm at Transcom, and I get put into roles that are designed for like general officers.
Advancement.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm not doing this. I am at this point. I am completely burned out from the Army.
What,
I was an exec for.
were you burned out, really?
Yeah, I was.
Well, today, would you have picked a different route or not?
No, I think no, I wouldn't.
Really?
Let me ask you
so
this question.
there's another
Hold on.
there's another piece to this. So like when I was at Commander General Staff, like I should not have gone on my 4th deployment.
Right.
Because I did something to my back, or my back finally caught up to me
Yeah,
while I was at
probably
Commander
wearing body
General.
armor while you're riding a Humvee.
For 3 deployments back to back to back to back,
Yeah.
right? And I was told I was non-deployable.
Yeah.
Like I was at Commander General Staff College,
But
and they
you
said
can deploy if you want to.
They said you're a non-deployable, and I said, like, when they told me like, all right, give us your first 4 choices for assignments. So I gave them my first 4, and then everybody else is getting their assignments. I'm like, where's my assignment? And I call my branch guy, and he's like, well, give me 4 more, and I give him 4 more, and the first I got my 7th pick.
Damn.
And my 7th pick was the first unit that was already deployed, and I'm like, crap, and so. But I could have gotten out of that.
Yeah.
Like I could have said, look, I'm non-deployable.
Yeah.
But when I got to Fort Campbell, I went and saw a doc. I'm like, look, I've got a non-deployable profile. I need you to change that because I'm not going to be the guy that doesn't go.
I mean, I really would have saw you as at the general officer level.
I was burned out, man. After 4 deployments, it was a boom, 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 boom. I mean,
But I mean,
why were you burned out? Why?
Hang
I
on.
was tired.
The conversation you just gave us was based off of questions that your wife asked you.
well, that was after my 4th deployment.
I get it.
Yeah.
But you're coming up and you're deciding whether or not I'm going to be a battalion commander.
I couldn't do a 5th deployment.
I mean,
I did the soul searching. I'm like,
You weren't
I
even thinking
can't
about
do
that
it.
until Sarah asked you the questions.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
But you would have
But-
jumped into one of them.
Yeah, I would have.
Yeah.
But once she pointed out some of the things, when she asked the questions,
Yeah.
it really did come down to my ego. That's what it came down to.
Man.
Okay.
Like my ability, like could I have been a general officer? I 100% believe I could.
So is that what it is about most general officers? Is it
No,
does it come down to the ego or does it come down
I
to
can't-
I'm just still doing service?
I can't say that because my experience is unique.
Well,
It's
everyone
ego.
is.
Okay.
Yeah, but no, I'm talking about just the deployments. I mean, how often did you see me between 2001 and 2008?
Twice.
You know what I'm saying? It was, I mean, that was a hard time. That was
Dude, your wife did for
Yeah,
you.
because you didn't see your daughter. You didn't. You missed
Yeah.
most of your daughter growing up.
From
Yeah.
her age is 2 to 7. I was hardly there.
Yeah.
Right.
My
Yeah.
son
And don't
came
forget,
to me.
before 9/11, I was in Korea for a year.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was already. I mean, the fact that I have any relationship with my daughter at all is a surprise because I wasn't around for those formative years.
Yeah.
And I think I hit this point that, like, I mean, Sarah was right. I mean, she really was.
She was, definitely.
I mean,
Yeah. God bless Sarah.
But you can look at any career.
Yeah.
Your
Anything.
ego carries you through any career, and I
Right.
think for the military career, my ego was taking me to a point until she put me in check, and I was like, yeah. But she actually knew me better than I knew myself. Like she knew that
Okay.
a 5th deployment
Yeah.
would completely break me.
Strong.
Well, that's
I've already-
actually a really good
Yeah.
point because that is an example of why our wives are so important to us.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, we talk about manhood and talk about all this stuff, and we're such badass.
Part of manhood is being self-aware enough to listen to the people who you respect the most, and it should be your wife.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. So
But-
my wife will come to me and say, "Are you in the right mind frame right now to make this decision?"
They ask us the questions that we just push right over our heads.
Yeah, we're
or
like, oh,
we're
no.
just unwilling to
No, I'm
address.
just going to add this to my rucksack. This
Yeah.
weight. I'll just put it in my rucksack and carry it, right?
Yeah, and that's what my 3rd deployment did. My 3rd
Yeah.
deployment put just this huge weight on me, just from the experiences that, and I know he can. I know he can tell you he saw it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did.
Like he saw it. He saw that there was something wrong with me.
The one that we were at Ethel's. The one of the 2 times I saw you in all your
Well,
deployments.
that was after Korea, I think, where we were drinking, and I had like 6 beers and you had 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Korea
he's got
will
your
bring up.
Corona and you're tilting it upside and it's spitting out
Yeah.
the side.
Yeah,
Oh,
but the
you
fact,
put the lime in it?
yeah, but the fact that I think I was on my 6th beer and he just finished his first. He's like, "Do you have a drinking problem?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "No."
You need help, man.
No. If you go to Korea,
Yeah.
you're going to have a drinking problem.
But
No, I think we're all functioning
No, but-
alcoholics in Korea.
I think you and I have had nights where, even at Rack House, I think there's been 1 or 2 nights where things went a little bit from the alcohol perspective. It probably went just a little bit overboard.
Something would trigger it,
Yeah,
and then
and
it
I
would all come out.
Yeah, I would have an emotional event,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it's something triggered.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm a little bit embarrassed by some of them, but what am I going to do? You know, these are
right.
this is stuff that happened to me. So,
I'll
but
tell you what.
this is what led me to get to the whole trauma recovery program.
Okay.
I'm like,
So I can't wait to our next episode
yeah.
when we talk about PTSD.
yeah, I hit a point where I'm like, I've got to do something
Yeah.
because, like, I feel like I got something under control, but it keeps coming back.
Yeah.
And my greatest fear is, okay, this is where I'm at right now, where I feel like I'm in control, but what's going to happen 20 years from now when my mental capacities aren't quite as strong?
Yeah.
Like, what's it going to... And that's where I was like, I've got to fix this now. I can't wait. I've got to fix it right now.
Let's end have you, the two of you, the three of us, who amongst us has an incident where you've woken up in the middle of the night and done something that's completely out of character?
Oh, I've done that all
me.
the time.
Yeah. So like,
Yeah. all of us.
But honestly, the frequency of that has diminished
Yes,
since I've
yes.
done this trauma recovery.
Agreed.
all right. And I want to do a whole entire episode on that because I'm on the, like, when I went to the VA, just to be fully, I went to the VA just for like physical ailments, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they do a PTSD and trauma assessment before they carry, like, the very first thing they do is a questionnaire about depression, anxiety, and PTSD. And so I answered honestly. I was like, well, let's just do this. Whatever. I'm done bullshitting. people.
Isn't it the hardest thing to do?
It's super
Answer
hard.
that questionnaire honestly.
Yeah. And so I answered. They were like, have you had any nightmares in the last week? How many? I was like, well, yeah. And I was like, everybody has nightmares, right? Have you had any, blah, blah, blah. And they talk. So then they came back to me and they were like, well, you tested positive for PTSD and anxiety and depression. Would you like to talk to a psychologist today? We have one on staff and they're here right down the hall and you can go talk to her today. And I sat there to myself.
Should have done it, man.
And I did it.
Okay, good.
Wow.
And
I'm the one person in this group that has never done that.
Kevin, you need to be braver. You need to be more brave and do it. Because that was like the point to me. I was, in my mind...
Actually, Kevin, you have done it. You just didn't do it with a clinical person with you. But you actually did it on one of your podcasts.
You did.
You
definitely
did. You did the exact thing that I've had to do and you've probably had to do.
Yeah.
You did it, but you did it on a podcast. You just didn't have a clinician that leads you up through that point. But you did it.
Episode 16.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you did it.
And when I said, yes, I had nightmares this week. Yes, I've had night terrors. And I've had an anxiety attack. I've had, and all this, and I said yes. Then and to me, I was like, everybody, this is normal, right? And she's like, no, honey, it's not normal.
It's normal for guys like us.
Yeah. And I was like, oh. And I'm at this point, I'm like almost at tears, and I'm just here to like get treatment for my aches and pains and like my back and my knees, and I was like, it was like, do I trust this person or not? Do I trust this government agency or do I not? And I don't trust the government any further than I could throw them. But for some reason, something told me to say yes.
Right. So you're not trusting the government here. This is a clinician.
They
that's trying
actually
to help
care.
you, right?
They really care.
Yeah. But that's not the government.
No.
All right.
It's
so
not.
you're trusting the clinician and their clinical experience, and you get that's you just got to go with that. Don't think about it as this isn't the VA.
Right.
This is somebody's trying to help me.
Right.
Right.
And so I said, yes, I want to see a psychologist today. And this started down a whole other path that we're going to talk about on another episode.
Yeah.
And I feel like for the first time in 20 years, I'm on the path to becoming better, to like healing, to getting stronger physically, mentally, and emotionally and spiritually. And it's like I can't tell you how grateful I am to have this conversation right now with you two guys. And to just like, I don't know. I feel lighter right now. Just even saying we're going to.
If you want to have
this.
a PTSD episode, we can do this.
Yeah.
All right. I can give you some great stories from point A to point B that tells you what I experienced, and how I changed from this to this, the guilt that this created based off of this.
Yeah.
I mean, I've learned.
there are things
I've learned a lot.
There are things that happened to me while I was in the Army that was not in a combat situation, that were some insane shit for somebody to go through. That is like no normal person would see somebody fall out of a helicopter. No normal person sees an armored personnel carrier towing another armored personnel carrier flip over into a rice paddy in Korea. Like, that's not normal for people to go through. But as soldiers, we're just like, shit happens, man.
Where was that at? Rodriguez Range? What?
I think so. The demo range up near the DMZ. But, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in our lives.
Wait, when were you in Korea?
1998 to 99? 98 to 2000.
Oh, okay. No, in 2000, I think there was an engineer that was killed.
99.
No, this is I think it was just 2000. An engineer was killed at. I can't remember the training area. But basically, it was an ace. An ace flipped over, and the guy was trapped.
Yeah.
And died. They were doing force on force against the South Koreans.
I left in November of 1999.
Yeah. I mean, it's an inherently dangerous environment.
Yeah, when I was there, we had an M1 Abrams flipped over in the mud and crushed a guy.
During War Steed 2001, I remember we rolled out in a snowstorm.
Dude.
And we were on it had to be like some sort of mountain pass. I'm in a 577, right?
My favorite.
And I'm watching the M1 in front of me start sliding.
Yeah.
And like,
bye-bye.
To the right is a cliff, right? And literally the crew of the M1 is climbing out.
Yeah. Like,
they were literally climbing out of the top of the tank, except for the driver. Everybody was climbing out because they were getting ready to bail. And I'm sitting here thinking, holy crap.
Yeah,
I'm getting ready to watch an M1 go off this cliff, and I'm right behind it. Yeah. Yeah, it's exciting.
Like
doing river crossings of the Imjin?
No, dude. So there's like all these normal things that you do in the Army, and you're like, whatever. But
can you imagine crossing a river on a pontoon bridge?
Like, go across the Mississippi
right now in your SUV.
Isn't the Imjin is probably twice as wide as the Mississippi in St. Louis, right?
Well, it depends on where you're at in the Imjin.
But closer to
we crossed it by firing point 30.
Yeah.
When you're up at Hannibal, the river's as wide as probably with the Imjin.
Do you remember firing point 30?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we did our crossing.
Dude.
Good times, huh?
So we're going to have a PTSD episode, and we're going to talk about how we've grown.
Very therapeutic.
And, we're all three of us sitting here damn near in tears right now. Maybe it's the 117 proof whiskey.
Nobody's in tears.
Nobody's in tears.
We're good.
I said near.
We haven't told any stories yet.
Listen, I love you guys, and I'm so grateful you came to my home to do this podcast, and that we have this time together to do this, and I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah. I mean, you can reach us all over the place at showmemk@gmail.com on email, or you can reach out to us on our Facebook account, Headspace and Tasting Podcast, which is where most of our traffic takes place. That and Spotify at the Headspace and Tasting Podcast, and we're also on YouTube now.
Yeah.
So there's no excuses not to listen to us.
Please go on YouTube. Give us some
Go
views.
to YouTube.
And the
That's what we
bottle,
want
and
you
the
to do.
bottle is empty.
And the bottle is empty. We hit it.
I try to keep that a secret, Dave. But,
Why? It's three of us.
But
That's responsible.
if you happen to pick up on us in Spotify or YouTube or Facebook, please join us. Be a follower.
if you're
It's
from
important to be a
outside
follower.
of, if you're from outside of Missouri, message us. Leave us a message on Spotify and tell us where exactly you are and how you found us and what do you think.
Yeah, because you know what? We just picked up a listener in Utah.
Yeah, which I love Utah. It's one of my favorite states.
Thanks, Utah.
Really?
It is. I love that place. I think it's super cool. It's beautiful.
Okay.
Closet Mormon.
Beautiful women. Well, I married a Mormon, so
Oh, okay.
I'm a fan of their women.
Are you gonna get little secret stitches on your T-shirts?
No, we're not going to go there.
That's the prepping capital of the country.
Damn
That in
right.
Idaho.
Damn right.
And they've produced some actually pretty good guides on how to prepare.
And there's
Get to your hidey-ho in Idaho.
I'm not going to give away any Mormon secrets that I know, so we're going to
We
end
have
it
one.
here.
We have one in our city.
Quiet.
Well,
No.
what?
Thank you, Dave.
All right, Dave. I don't know where
All
that
right.
came from.
I got to take another potty break, so join us next time.
Dave, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Peace out.